last time on the City of Salt, we, with our party here that we're kind of colloquially calling the Four Ways, you guys had a couple days of downtime, more or less. Uh, Eros was we kind of just walked through a day of your guys' life, so to speak, and Eros goes out and goes shopping. Arranges for starts to talk to the dancers Jesse and Roxana about getting jobs and things like that. And Cotton and Birdman will eventually wake up, and so does Strike. And there's food and breakfast, and Strike brings breakfast down to the children in his little cave he set up. Um, and you guys go shopping for like cloaks and uh just items of various sorts that you thought you needed. Birdman eventually goes back to meet up with Altapar, the second in command of the 10th house, and kind of talk shop about like his divorce and basically, but he kind of tells Birdman that he'd rather have his other services, which is getting paying you guys 100 gold to like assassinate his wife and her lover, so it just gets kind of swept under the bridge, so to speak. Um, you guys then meet up with Eros in the 13th house district, as Eros is trying to get jobs for the dancers of care halls after his kind of misleading and emotional abuse, I should say. Um, and then you guys were on your way to deal with Altapar, as far as I could tell. With his like assassination attempt at Eros, wanted to talk to him at least. It seemed, and on the streets, you guys get waylaid and ambushed by Ratus after one of their brothers was killed or knocked out, unconscious, whatever it was.
Oh,
He was
that
killed.
rat's dead.
Yeah,
That
that
rat's
red's dead.
dead.
Yeah, he was like ripped in half or something. In the bar fight the night before, a couple days before, so that's the gist of what you guys incited. There wasn't a lot of talking. They just kind of ambushed and started to attack you all. And once the fight started to like obviously seem like it was not in their favor, many of the rooftop archers kind of skittered away. Eros kind of got to the main street at that same time. I was able to get assistance from the Lupin, from the first house that kind of patrolled the city in general. And they kind of in the alleyway see Strike come up, and he's covered in blood, and it kind of scares one of them. And the wolf kind of goes out and calls for like backup, so to speak. And now you guys have a pack of wolves from the Lupin house trying to figure out what's going on here. We left off with Eros kind of loosely explaining to them that, you don't need to worry. We This isn't as big a deal. It's like, I think, some line about defense, self defense. I remember saying you rolled a natural 20 with your persuasion check.
To make sure
Um,
that they don't attack Strike, because Strike's
mhm.
not a rat.
Dirty rats. So we pick up with there. We're not in initiative in any way. I would say we're in what I'm gonna call an intrigue, taking some ideas from L5R. And I've been using this mechanic the last couple sessions, and both you guys want. And just to be upfront with what I'm doing, you guys have to get momentum points. You already have one momentum point from the crit last time in this scene. You have to get momentum points equal to the highest proficiency modifier from the NPCs. And to get them to kind of agree to your side. You can get bonus momentum points for knowing their motivations and things like that, which you can discern with various actions and whatnot you see fit, or just good role play or whatnot too. So presumably by the guys that have kind of come around, Eros, this guy closest to you all, was the first wolf that kind of engaged with you all. He's just kind of a lowly guard. just kind of spear, shield kind of thing. And then the one of the other two that arrived relatively soon after, full plate, great sword, runs in on mostly kind of all fours. And then they kind of wait for a few moments, and another guy runs in. This guy has the equivalent of half plate armor on, but it like mostly covers his like bracers and his legs and stuff like that. And he has like a long sword on his hip. Um, and they seem to kind of defer to him, sort of, just by the body language. So you guys pick up on as he comes into the alleyway here. They're sniffing. I'm gonna have him roll a survival check with advantage because he's getting help from his kind of captain next to him. And as he kind of like tries to figure out what's going on here, what do you guys want to do? As they obviously just taking a minute or two to just kind of sniff and breathe it in and see what they can see without any like vocal influence yet.
Eros, she will kind of walk past Strike a little bit just so that she can get to Birdman, who I believe got shot with an arrow, right?
What I'm doing, I'm using passive medicine checks, like so what's your passive medicine check? And you can
Probably just it's a 13.
13. Versus his con. That's way above. He's a little more than half.
I'm probably like taking care of that right now, like doing the thing where like you break the arrow off on one end, like fucking Christ. Because Birdman knows not to just pull an arrow out of your body. That's a bad plan.
Yeah.
He's a ranger. He should know that.
With that 13, you can see that he's probably the worst off of your three right now. Strike looks a little tired, but he's okay.
Oh, I'm good.
Strike has a lot more. Strike has a lot more stamina than Birdman does. You know that for a fact.
First of all, let me do a concept to see how much I'm going down here.
Yeah, I got shot a couple times. It's all good. It's whatever.
Calm enough to assess the situation. Maybe help with injuries with the limited resources we've got on hand.
I mean, I also have my 5 good berries ready, like in my hands. So I'm probably just popping those like candies. Like, yeah.
Good berries like Molly.
Yeah. Just like pop it, like eat it, break the arrow off, eat another one, pull the arrow out, eat another one.
Pain.
Crush them up, put them in my fucking wound real quick.
Okay. Eros is Baldo's guards. She's not gonna talk to them until they like speak up. She's gonna cast detect thoughts, but she's using it on for Birdman and his surface thoughts. Are you okay?
Fucking rats. Just like breaking it off. Fucking rats. And he like looks up, he's like, mm-hmm. He shakes his head. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know we have to talk about Altamar later, right?
He's like pushing a berry into his like slit in his like chest or wherever he got shot. Mm-hmm.
Is that really all you have to think? Is mm-hmm?
Mm-hmm. Fucking rats.
These rats are being an issue, aren't they?
Yep. Somebody's getting sued. Somebody's getting sued.
Somebody's getting souped.
Souped.
You think we have enough to... You think there is enough to sue?
He looks at you like, and then points at his thing like, yeah? They just attacked me for no reason. Twice they've attacked me for no reason.
I mean,
They attacked me the first time for no reason. And the second time, after I taught them a lesson and killed one of their friends, they attacked me under retaliation.
okay, guess. Well,
I'll talk to some people.
I'll leave that to you. And
I
she'll
will.
look over at the main wolf, just looking at him, not saying anything or using.
Once he sees that you're locking eyes with him, he'll start to rise kind of from the all fours that he's on, and I'm curious that you would leave one alive.
So that someone could validate this? I mean, if they're all dead, no statement to get from them.
Steven.
Strike.
Statement.
It was like, looks at you like I was trying, and just, Steven.
Statement for what purpose? These rats do not. I do not think they would speak anything but ill of what has happened here.
They don't need to speak. All they need to do is think.
His eyes flash between the four of you,
Self-defense.
ending at kind of at Cotton off to his left arm. It seems so, Birdman, attorney at crime. Yes. It seems. Defense. We see, and this guy kind of runs from around the corner, and he's like, they speak in Lupin, which is the wolf tongue. I mean, Canaan, which is the dog tongue. And then the guy kind of nods, and Eros, as best you can get from like your detect thoughts, is confirming the ambush, that they found tracks of people fleeing, and talked to a couple people nearby and whatnot, and the ambush is true, that these rats set up an ambush for you all. But the way the main wolf guy kind of stares back at you, you get the impression of that's the least of his concerns, kind of thing. And he eventually speaks up, and the children of Ataxia are proud, indeed. Her brood is a great benefit to this city. The adventures they bring, the gold, the resources that only the Tarask blinds sometimes, I believe the city thrives upon. But they are proud, as I said. What you have done here is self-defense in the immediate, yes. But I am worried about the long-term repercussions of an war in the alleyways. Ataxia and her brood
I mean,
will seek more blood if it suits them. And I cannot be on every street at every time, despite my wish to do so.
well, that's. Then I guess more rats are gonna be dying then. Because this is just bullshit.
The rats, as I said, are of the fourth house that brings us great treasure. I know of Birdman. I do not know of the rest of you. What I should say, what benefit do I have from someone I do not know?
Well, I'm like one of the best bards ever. You can go to the
Birdman's
13th
nodding.
house and you can ask Rexani about me.
Rexani, the king of lies. I think not. But perhaps you have something else other than stories and reputation to help convince me of your worth.
Convince you? I'm like one of the best scouts there even are in the city. Birdman is like my only rival in that
You
regard.
hear Birdman's thoughts. Cold facts. Cold hard facts. he just like He's just like doing that thing where he was like karate chops his hand. Cold hard facts.
Not to mention, we were actually just going to see someone about an important job at the 10th house, meeting with the Keeper of Secrets himself.
I do not care of the workings of shadows. I care of the workings that bring in and out the trade of this city.
And
If you
Shadows,
want me
that
to
trade.
protect you, yes, yes. If you want me to protect those shadows from the weight of the rat's tail, I need to know what's worth my time. These are many bodies. There will be many questions, many whiskers searching for answers.
Birdman does a sidebar. he like grabs everybody and like puts his finger up. Hold on 1 second. And then just like grabs everybody and huddles everybody. And then we're all huddled. And he pulls out like a coin and he's like, "Oh, like I'm gonna bribe this man. Does he want money? Like, 'cause I can give him money."
Strike does the same.
Yeah,
Takes
just
the
like
coin.
he's just like, yeah, we're fucking like
think
huddled
he's
up, and he just
right.
holds a coin, and he's like,
He either
"Mhm."
wants money or something that's like actually worth something. He's not going to go talk to someone to learn about reputation. He needs something that's in front of his face right now. Like Eros,
Yeah, we can give her some
detect thoughts.
gold.
Like these guys are crooked cops. Like, and there's
Yeah.
not really such thing as a non-crooked cop. Like Jim is actually one of the best cops in the city.
Mm.
And that's saying something because he's a
And
drunk and a lecherous asshole. So,
yeah, I
Not
just hold
you
up
can
a
grant him
coin,
with
like
this
I
cool.
hold up a coin, like in thought, like yes, money, give him money.
Yeah, we should give him some gold or maybe silver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sure. And
And Birdman just what does he want though? How much does he want? Can I make an insight check of how much he would want? Like,
I would
to
also
know.
do that if that is the
Yeah.
thing we're
Me too.
doing.
Yeah. Let me
Like,
do
how
that.
much is it gonna take for him to like not like say anything and like
in
have our back?
Canaan, watching what you guys are doing, he orders a couple of the other guys to just kind of go about their business, and a couple of guys leave the alleyway.
I mean, I would think I had drank with Jim often enough to kinda have an idea of how they would work. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, insight.
Oh man, guys, I bribe
Oh,
cops all the
come
time.
on, that's
That's
Damn,
why.
you really do.
You are the attorney at
You are an
crime.
expert.
That's true. I bribe cops all the time. That's why cops don't like me. That's why good cops don't like me.
Hmm.
We have established that cops don't like me though. So
Okay, to keep this quiet for at least a day or so, you are thinking like 15 to 20 gold. And
We could give him the ring as gold.
after that, you guys, but that's just kind of the city. Like that'll give you enough time to like separate yourselves from the situation, but you still know people. The fourth house is still probably going to come investigating eventually. Like if you want them to completely ignore it, you know the price of what a head is in the city,
right.
and you
Hmm.
have 4 heads here. So like
Well,
for them to completely ignore this and for them to clean it up for you and just like wipe it under the rug, this is like 50 to 100 gold per person that's go here.
Per person, yeah. I
So-
just made that deal the other day. So
It's
literally
technically earlier.
2
Yeah.
hours ago we were just
Yeah, it was,
talking
yeah,
about
it was just a
this.
couple hours ago. Yeah, technically.
Yeah. Ugh.
Let's say Cotton was to pull out the ring she stole and try to convince that cop that it's really very valuable. Would I have to roll a persuasion or like deception check?
Deception, and if someone else, if
Yes.
Eros or someone wants to assist you, totally could do it that way too. The ring,
Cotton
just
has
Cotton just in general from being in the store that he had it marked as like 12 gold or something.
yeah, it isn't that valuable, but like it's not like cheap, but so she kind of goes through her like I imagine she has like a little bag with her maybe, and she paws through that and pulls out this little ring, and she's like, I think you might be interested in this. It's a family heirloom. It's really valuable. I don't know what's the word. So if Eros helps me, do I roll with advantage? Or
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, it's up to you, Eris, if you want me to assist, but yes. Cool.
I feel like Eros has a like because she doesn't even know like the ring's value. And Eros. Okay, I guess yeah, sure. Eros will help and also give you a D8 of inspiration to use as well.
It is a beautiful ring. Doesn't quite seem like it's something to fit a little Lynxen's paw, exactly. But beautiful indeed. And then he looks at you all like, is that it?
No, I hand him 20 gold.
Same. I'm making it 30.
Okay, so 30 gold and then the ring? Or just 30 gold?
Eros is
The
going
ring is-
to hand over. I'm also going to do a persuasion check, but Eros is going to hand over 100 gold.
Ooh, I also give him a business coin. It's like, hey man, you need one. You
Like,
know where to find me.
Give him some food. You can bribe dogs with food, right?
Ooh,
oh my god.
Really
good.
good, baby.
Eros,
So 30 gold and a few rations from Strike.
here, take this. And I should remind you that if this isn't swept under the rug, there will be more bodies and more things that you would have to deal with. We don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with it. None of us want a war over some dipshits who just failed a job.
The guy over here starts to growl a little bit, and
You can growl
This
all you
guy's
want.
just-
I got a 25.
and I cannot guarantee every nose will be thwarted from its scent, but I can give you a few days, young one.
Honestly, that's all we need.
And in Canaan, you hear him yell around the corner, and the guy, another couple of the guards that were still by, come over, and each one kind of grabs one of these guys underneath an arm pit, and kind of takes the bodies, and then this guy looks at this one down here, and he waits for the rest of the Lupin to kind of leave, obviously, with the Ratus. It is probably best, once they're gone, he says, it is probably best if this one is not left alive. if you want the least likelihood of following.
Honestly,
Birdman looks at all of you like, "Can I do it, please? Can I stab him, please?"
And he starts to follow the rest of the way and just leaves the body there. He's not even concerned about interviewing him in any way, shape, or form. You get the impression.
So I guess both Birdman and Strike would really want to kill this guy.
Well, we could also interrogate this guy and try to get him to be like, "Yo, tell your buddies to stop fucking with us."
That's probably a smart thing to do.
That's probably a
Right now
good
it's smart.
plan. Yeah, I think you hear that, Eros, from Birdman too. Like, he's like, I could either just stab this guy, or we could try to get him to go back to the fourth house and say, "Hey, stop fucking with these guys, because they will keep like, we just told the cops we're gonna continue to kill them if they attack us. Like, it doesn't matter if the cops have our back or not." So
Eros is gonna wake the rat
Like
up.
it did. Like the first house is if cops were like a private industry, like
yeah,
they're not. Their motto is not protect and serve.
yeah. I mean, like, we basically just like talked to I imagine a high ranking captain in the first house, and we were like, "Yeah, dude, here's some money. Don't even talk about it." Also, and that guy was like, "I don't care what happens to this guy. He
So
can die if he
Detective
wants." So if
Walt
we
would
let this
really
dude
be killing rats.
go and go back to the fourth house and just tell everybody like, "Hey, these guys are fucking seriously no joke." Like, he might, we might not even have to sue them. We might not even have to go through that route, or we might not even have to kill any more people.
Strike would just shoot a questioning look at the rest of the group.
I imagine, like, I'm speaking probably in Thieves' Cant right now, like with my hands too, like, so that Cotton can pick up on that too. I think, right? Because you're a rogue.
Cotton's picking up on it.
Yeah, so I'm like hand
Um,
gesturing, but like Arrows can
But
actually
yeah,
hear
I
the
mean, she
thought
can just reply
process.
normally, so.
Hmm?
Yeah, I mean, Strike is pretty intimidating. Maybe he could traumatize this rat even more.
I
You
like
know?
the sound of that. Brian, prop that bastard up.
I prop that bastard up respectively. I do the same thing I like, or I have my knife like to his neck. Come here, motherfucker.
Can you use one of those berries to wake him up?
Oh, yeah. I put a berry in his mouth and help him chew it. So I guess.
Okay. After a few moments,
Not on the roof though. Thank you.
after a few moments, he kind of jostles a little bit, freak, has that little freak out, snorts and sniffs, looks up at the bird saying hello, eyes go wide, then looks, you say it again, and then starts to look around and see that he's surrounded. He sees there's no bodies around, the wolf, wasn't even there for the wolves, like, he's obviously confused, surprised, angered, but doesn't really act on that one.
And this giant fucking badger getting way too close for comfort.
Eros just kind of stares at the rat. And then, like, before, like, kneeling down to be at eye level with him. So, you guys tried to have us kill.
He nods.
All because of a botched job on your behalf. Your meaning a other group of Ratus.
He just stares at you and blinks a couple times.
So, what I'm trying to say is, friends of yours attacked us the other day, and because of that, one of them died, and now you and others have attempted to get revenge for said botched job, only for more of you to die. Are you understanding that?
I do.
Okay, good.
And you get the impression by your detect dots that he cannot speak much common at all.
And okay, I'll just say I had it because it only lasts a minute, but I'll say I casted it a second time.
Does he speak Moustolen?
I will cast comprehend languages.
He doesn't. He doesn't speak Mustela, no.
And if I need to as well, I will also. I think it's yeah. And if I need to, I'll also use universal speech. So now he can fully understand me, and I understand him. Go on.
My friends, I knew not of why. I just know they die. Family important. Family keep us strong, all under the grip of Thrundle.
Under the grip of who?
Thrundle.
Thrundle?
We need our family. You took, but now you strong. So we stuck between 2 and 3 strong, and our family weaker now.
Is he speaking in common right now, or is he speaking in a different language?
Let me roll it. He's speaking in Sylvan. I don't know if any of you
Okay.
speak Sylvan, but he's speaking in Sylvan.
I don't. I probably should, but I don't.
Sylvan is kind of like the Ratus Common before they learned Common. It's like one of their languages
But I think both of our
The rest of us do.
both of our friends speak Spill. Yeah, all of us do, except for me.
So, Eros, follow up. Look, trust me when I say that I get that family is very important. But here's something else that you have to keep in mind. You shouldn't just go out killing people or trying to kill people. And she kind of like glances at Birdman for like 2 seconds before looking back. Over something you don't fully understand. Because as I said, the truth of the matter is, your family attacked us. They were...
You're not from this city, are you?
I've been here 2 years.
I was gonna say if he interrupts her at all, he just gets like full on into the wall. Like he's just like, shut up. Like
You're knocking back out. You're
I'm
knocking
done.
back out. You're not.
I give him another.
You only had
berry.
1 HP. So
I give him another berry.
he wakes cut spits out the like
Shut up!
little,
Fuck off.
Yes, I've only been here for 2 years, and I don't know the full breadth of everything. But what I do know is this. If I fuck up a job, and someone dies for it, that doesn't give me the right to go after the people who killed my friends. Because that was my fault. And if more of my friends die, then that's also my fault. So,
Eros, you feel around your where do you keep your darts?
on my hip.
Okay, you feel around your hip, something around your darts, and you look down, and this guy has snuck his tail between Strike's legs to where Birdman and no one else can see other than you, and he's trying to grab one of your darts with his tail.
I will pull out one of my darts and put it dangerously close to his eye.
His eyes go wide as he realizes that you sensed and saw that. And he's like, human strange.
Oh yeah, and I can be pretty fucking vindictive. I'm trying to help you out here. I'm trying to help keep you alive. So that
His
you can go
eyes
back to
are
your family.
closed.
At this point, Strike would grab him by the throat, lift him up, and say very clearly, "I'll make this very clear for you. Go back to the little friends. Tell them not to fuck with us anymore. Or I'll come after you, one by one, tear you limb from limb, until nothing is left. Are we clear?"
I need the group to roll an intimidation check. You have advantage, Strike.
Do I roll with strength or?
You can use strength with this one, yeah. Since you're
Perfect.
gripping
And that's
him.
an additional 6 for 14.
I really want to use persuasion though.
Mm,
I mean, I'll use intimidation if I have to.
persuasion with disadvantage if you want, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I can't roll any lower than a 19 anyway, so
Oh, there you go.
22.
Okay. He nods, and the last thing you probably sense in the detect thoughts before it dissipates is him in woe that his family is doomed. But he nods. He's in agreement to what Strike says.
Listen, we don't want anyone to die either. No one needs this war. At all. Let's just accept what's happened and move on. We don't mean any harm. If you want anyone, then go after the man named Carehalls. If you want anyone. Because he's responsible for why your friend died in the first place. But we don't want to do anything else. Strike, let him go.
At this point, Strike doesn't drop him, but lets him down gently. Because he's sure the point came across loud and clear. And well, then I guess Strike would turn away and tell him to fuck off, basically.
He hops down on all fours as soon as he's able, and he runs as fast
Yeah,
as he
I was
fucking
gonna say,
can.
as soon as Strike lets him down, Birdman's like, "Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!" Like scares him away. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Eris is gonna reach into her backpack, pull out her jacket or jacket armor, and put it on, muttering to herself, "Can't a girl just walk around without having to wear protection all the time?" And then she's gonna
No.
start walking to the 10th house, as her original intention was.
Okay. It's about 8 p.m. in the afternoon by this point.
Wait, hold
I
on.
mean, in the evening, and that is.
She walks away, and it's just us sitting in the alleyway, right? Like me and Strike and
Mhm.
Cotton.
If you don't follow.
Birdman, when Eros walks away, Birdman taps Strike on the shoulder. He just goes, "Steven," and then holds his hand out for a high five. Like, yeah.
Strike's eyes says, "Brian, high five."
High five. They high five, and then Birdman runs off like a ninja. It's like, nah.
Okay. So we're going to the 10th house to talk to Altabar.
Yes.
Yes.
All
right.
Yeah.
All right. You guys can drop yourselves on the left side of the map is kind of where you would come in, but you would find Altapar close within there, next to the table. There's just other people from the 10th house. The 10th house is mostly run by Butori, but it's a good mix of people. And there's another. Probably makes you guys initially sort of apprehensive. Is there's another? Why didn't your token work? That's interesting.
Before we go in there, I'd tap Eris on the shoulder and ask, "Hey, could you clean me up, please?"
Right. Sorry, forgot. I was I was going to, but
Understandable. A lot of show talent.
And she'll like clean them up with prestidigitation. Clean them all up with prestidigitation, as well as a bit of mending to
The
any other
Birdman
shit.
is confused by this notion, but he's into it. He's like, I guess. He's like, I suppose I was kind of down being covered in blood, walking into the 10th house, but whatever. That's cool.
So what are we apprehensive about?
There's a Ratus in the room. You see him like looking at some books. I don't know. It's just like you just dealt with like killing a bunch of Ratus and whatnot. Speaking of, I wanted you guys to roll me a sanity check. I've changed how I want to handle this. I'm gonna simplify my life and your guys' life, but nonetheless, roll a sanity check. I'm gonna roll for Cotton. Cotton passed.
Oh,
Well,
I
I'm going
am-
fucking crazy.
I am down by one.
Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Roll. I would like the three of you that got under 10 to roll me a d4.
huh.
Your sanity score decreases by that much.
Oh, nice.
After, and you can role play that as you see fit.
Uh,
I'm at 6 sanity.
I don't.
Oh, you're fucking unhinged.
Oh, there's my sanity. Okay. Is this like a permanent decrease or a decrease for a time?
Permanent decrease, but it's going to increase. You can increase it with like downtime stuff.
Okay.
Cool.
So it's something we have to be
Like, if you
active about.
Like if you, well, like it could be passive too. Like if we just have like a couple months go by and you guys are just chilling or whatever, not really too many complicated things. We'll have you guys roll sanity and things like that. Or I wanted to connect to things that are personal to you. So like if there's something come up where you think that like your sanity is getting better, like hey, I say, can I roll a sanity check?
Easy,
You know.
just spend some quality time with the kids.
Yeah, just like, and we can. That totally makes sense.
Just do things that make your world like reconnect to itself, rather than feel like it's slipping away. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that I want to give you guys more control of it is what I want to do. So after thinking about it over the since we did it last time, so I kind of like the last idea, but it makes more sense if that's like magical rather than just like something that's trauma related, I guess. So
Yeah. Okay.
But-
Then cool. So once we're in the tower and see Altapar, Eris is going to walk up to him. If before the whole rat thing, she would have stormed up, but she is walking up more calmly, quote unquote. And she says, Altapar?
Gets a little surprised, reading a book, slowly closes the books, goes to the side. Birdman, what? I thought everything was.
Birdman kind of tugs on his collar, like,
Come
and
on.
then
Strike just
I
comes
met-
out with a little snarl.
And then Strike walks in behind you all, and he's just like, "Oh, is there an issue with the arranged payment?"
There's a lot of issues. Let's go to your room.
He looks around at the people kind of around him and realizes, he's not alone here. I think we can talk over here.
Birdman, I know you always skip papers for each of our jobs.
he kind of pulls out his briefcase, like, he puts it on the desk, like, mm-hmm.
I might not know why you want it to happen, but it's not like we can't pin your ass to the fucking wall. So let's talk in private so that all of us don't have to worry about anything.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Would Birdman assist or no?
He is. I mean, I don't think he's like actively assisting you, but he like wouldn't not. I mean, he has the paperwork. He has what you need for him. You know, like to pin him. He Birdman knows the situation that he's in. If he really wanted to get Altapar back, he could. He's got the paperwork for it.
I suppose Strike would be helping visibly by just being pissed and intimidating, I guess.
He's kind of just like, but Altapar also has shit on me because I kind of agreed to it and signed the paperwork too. So it's like,
Does the DM agree that equates to advantage or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
he's kind of giving, he's like playing devil's advocate here. Like, I mean, she's not wrong, but you know,
I fine. I guess we can go to a more private room. Yes. Here. Follow me. He leads you down the hallway. All right. So he leads you, to kind of his room situation, I guess. And he kind of sits down at his desk and eh, yes. What do you want
Just-
to say?
Well,
Birdman puts his hands up.
what I want
Puts
to
his hands
do,
up like, I didn't do anything. Wasn't me.
what I want to do is kick you in the fucking teeth and then stomp on your nuts until your testicles explode and sperm is splattered everywhere. That's what I want to do.
Among other bodily fluids.
But
I find this ironic that you are angry that I want to pay you to kill one person when you so willingly kill 4 in the streets.
oh, glad you heard about that. But it's not more
Of
of a
course I heard about this. I am the keeper of secrets.
yeah. But it's not
Why
about
you-
Self-defense.
Are you honestly comparing self-defense with the
Yes, I
assassination
am.
of somebody else?
You are new to the city. All of you have only been to the city for a few years. This is comparable. Murder, death, they are the same fucking thing in the city of Salt. However you put it, you killed 4. The Ratus will see that as murder, no matter how you squeeze it. And yes, I know the intimidation. They will stay quiet for a time, yes. But they are already being squeezed by Thrundle, their new binder lord. Fucking hobgoblins. Bugbear. Whatever the fuck he is. He's big and hairy and he's not a rat, and they're mad about it.
Bugbear.
well, they can be mad about it all they want. I don't completely care. But well, that might be that might be how things work in this city. That doesn't mean that's how we work. We'll fight to survive. But is this really the only thing you could think of?
No, but it is the easiest solution for things.
Does that
Birdman
make it better?
continues nodding his head in the corner.
How does that make it any better?
You're an odd one, asking about morality in a business relationship about murder. I hire you all to deal in trade that is dark and clandestine. You've dealt with others that needed taken care of in the ring before. Strike for me. Those that are nowhere near, probably just as guilty as my wife for her many dealings. I
And you know what? You know the amount of people that I've ever killed? None. And when they kill, I'm not a part of it either. And their reasons are justifiable. But yours? What did she do to deserve that? You want her dead because of your own fuck up.
well, I can find someone else to do the job if you don't want to get paid this time.
Did you see Birdman like no. Like wait.
This is
I'll
not.
do it.
This is not at all about. I would be willing to help you if no one had die for such pathetic, limp dick reasons.
Yes, politics are pathetic, but other than what you have done here and this fidelity issue you speak of, my wife is a powerful voice for many things. And there are certain constituents that don't like the direction she's pushing things in. And what do we say? 200 gold to make this just get done and quietly.
She just like looking at Eros like, come on, man, that's a good deal. It's 200 a person. It's fucking sick. It's double the rate.
No, 250.
We said 250 a person.
Two-
Man, it's 500 gold. It's like,
Do I grab him by the throat or do I not grab him?
I
You
can
just,
give
like-
someone else 250,
Do
or I can give
you-
you.
You're
Have-
just like nudging Eros like, come on, man.
Do you have blackmail on her? Yes or no?
Not enough to do anything of worth yet. No.
Eros pulls out her golden focus and says,
Where is she right now in the city?
She, right now, I'm not sure. We haven't been talking the last few weeks. I do know she has a speech to give tomorrow morning in the Tailstones to a gathering of some of the the mudders, those that clean up the streets for us.
What does his wife do? Like, who is she associated with? I know he like said it. I like forgot.
I don't remember what I said before. Other than his wife it's a political thing. But
Okay.
roll a history check.
History check. Okay.
I didn't write down what I said last time. I don't think I said too much, honestly, last time.
No, I don't think you said a lot, but I remember you did say she was associated with a house. You don't know, like you didn't go into details of like what she did, but I remember you were saying she's associated with a certain house. I just forgot which one.
Oh, I have to go back and look at the thingy.
Looking at thingies.
Listen to the thingy.
"Do you need an entire catalog of information?"
Nonetheless,
Yeah.
she's kind of like a lobbyist,
Oh.
for lack of a better way to put it. She is trying to get people on the side of the general populace on the side through money borrowing and through just general housing developments and water imports.
Wow. She's like a
Sh-
full ass socialist, huh? Just going
yeah,
hard.
but she's doing it. You're generally getting the impression it's like something that she started with like a progressive, like good heart kind of thing, but she's kind of
Yeah.
been corrupted by a couple of the big houses.
Ooh,
So
shit.
like she's kind of associated herself with the 13th and the 12th house kind of closely.
Ugh.
Those two houses to kind of use the water connections that the 13th house has, and then the general just power the 12th house has gained in the last 10 years with their movements. She's like got paid off by them to like, and she was initially, it's like, oh, I'm helping the city, and she is like, she does help people. She give out supplies and resources every day, but there's a general impression for people that are aware of it that she's helping the 12th house gain more political power than the rest of the houses are comfortable with by her trying to help the city because they're kind of funding her. And then the 13th house is just trading their water and just making money off that. Even they give out free water all the time just because that's kind of their thing. They kind of like have that, they like want people to come spend money on booze, sex, and whatever. So if like they can draw people in by things that people want, which is generally water, is the hardest thing to come by in the city. So
Where do you think she could be? Where would she normally be?
are you sure you want to deal with this tonight? You all look like you are a little bit tired.
I'm not saying we're dealing with it tonight. I'm saying I want to see.
I do not know where she is. By her tonight, I know she has her speech tomorrow in the Tailstones.
Fine.
I know not what else to say.
Fine.
You can attempt to find her. I assume someone in the Tailstones, the 12th house, her associates, maybe your own 13th house will have something. She does purchase from them weekly.
Could try to
Fine. Fine.
Could try to get a contact in the 12th house to talk to me, I suppose. If that's what you want to do.
Eros puts away her golden or focus and just says,
We'll look into her. You have what? A week? So, 8 days.
and she
Fine.
just she
8 days.
away.
250?
When you're done with the job. But
250? You just hear Berman 250.
Eros turns her back and before heading down the stairs says,
You know, and I actually thought I was beginning to like you. When you pull this shit.
you need to learn to separate business from pleasure, young one.
As you're
Separate
walking
business from
away,
pleasure.
Burman's looking over the banister like 250? 250? Like he's like confirming, like, is that okay? 250?
Strike's just storming out before he chokes a bitch.
250? It's like he just keeps saying it, like waiting for you to respond. 250? 250?
Eros
250?
Eros doesn't say anything. She doesn't respond.
250? He keeps looking back at Altapar. 1 second. 250?
Just goes
250?
running down the stairs.
He's like waving you out of the room.
Nope.
Yeah.
Also,
Which is-
250?
Yes, if it's done, If it's done, sure. Yes, 250. We agree. Yes, please, Birdman. See that's
250 per person. It's in his name because there we had an agreement to execute another person that was not his wife.
well. Let's see if you actually do, Birdman. If you do, sure. 250.
It's 500
He
gold.
holds his hand out.
You can draw up a contract if you wish.
He takes the old contract out and then like crosses out 100 and writes 250 on it, and he's like thumbs up and then puts it in and then runs downstairs. 250.
Okay.
You just hear him screaming down the
Meanwhile, Strike is long gone and on his way to the tavern.
250, 250, 250, 250, 250.
All right. So by this point, it's 8:30, almost 9 o'clock in the evening. The sun's well been down for over an hour by this point. It's pretty dark on the streets. You're going to. Do you want to go to Harold's Tavern that you guys normally go to?
Eros is going to the 13th
Eros
house.
has a performance. Yeah, I was gonna say Eros has a performance. He probably
Eros
should
does
be
have the
back.
performance at the 13th house.
Oh,
That is
true. Then we're all going with him.
I feel like Eros doesn't want to see my face, so I want to go home. Like
Oh, that's the wrong floor. Where's the other
Birdman would
one?
go home because he feels like Eros is very upset with him.
And Eros is going
no.
there, and Strike is going too. Mostly because of what happened earlier.
He has to go home to redraft a contract of 250.
All right. If you guys want to take a short rest by this point, you definitely would have time to, as Eros is getting ready for their performance and whatnot.
I imagine for Eros a short rest, she probably went into the 13th house and just kind of walked, like just grabbed a random drink that's just out, and then like goes upstairs to a room with a white handkerchief on it, and then chills out in there.
I'm just ordering a drink. A strong one.
Drinks. A strong one. All right, dwarven ale it is.
Make it double, please.
Double. Alrighty. Let's see. Got Rexani kind of hops a little bit back, and he brings you two full, bigger, kind of mugs, with ale in them. That'll be what a gold should do it.
Could you repeat that?
A gold for both.
A gold. Alright. Giving him a gold, last two free silver pieces just to get rid of the change.
Hops about. Okay. He kind of makes an announcement. Yes. Eros will be performing later. Getting ready for everything. Please, just relax yourselves. All will be around and sorted shortly. People start to trickle in, hearing about the performance and whatnot. A lot of people excited for things. Animaesus and humans and halflings and dwarves and Canis and whatnot. Couple other obviously bards jealous or of the performance or trying to steal routines or whatnot. Obviously, they wouldn't be here. Oh, there'd be lots of these people. Strike. You got a good buzz going on after the, even the first one. Dwarven ale's pretty strong. You're not like quote unquote poisoned yet, but you feel good. You're warm. And Birdman is doing what?
Birdman is probably at home redrafting a contract.
Okay.
Because I'm sure Eros doesn't want to see him. I'm sure Eros is very upset with him. Like,
Okay.
I'm totally willing to just take it. It's like, okay, I'll just sit at home and redraft my shit.
Okay.
So I am not there.
Eventually, Rexoni would then walk upstairs, knock on Eros's door, and they're getting a little antsy out there. You ready?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Birdman can finish his game now.
She
Never.
she opens the door, wearing a new outfit. So it's a very provocative outfit. Saying, I fucking need this. Oh my fucking hell! I need this. This day has been way too fucking much.
You look stressed out, but you also look beautiful.
Yeah. What's new?
Well, go give him hell. Shake that booty, make some coin, and, end this night on a happier note than where it started.
Oh, I meant to send you, but you got any additional band people nearby?
I could make a couple phone calls, yeah? I mean, well, stone calls, I guess I should say.
All I need is some people who know how to swing.
Yeah. I know one of my good friends from the which house? From the 8th house. Daylane. She was coming by. She's a pretty damn good bard. Learned from the glamour school of the elves. So maybe she'll be willing to help out. But yeah, I'll see what other players we can get.
10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. He kind of runs and like slides down the railing of the stairs, and you guys. He kind of goes near the door to a couple Putori from the 10th house and throws a couple silver at them to go run out the door and whatnot. Oh, I didn't want to make him super huge. That's not what I wanted.
He's a giant.
And okay, and
So yeah. In that meantime, Eros would kind of just walk down the stairs. Imagine there's not really there's no real stage.
no, not here.
Yeah.
Not in the Herald's Tavern. This isn't the Herald Tavern. Not in. This is just a tavern and inn, kind of thing. Kind of old school setup. There is probably a bigger stage. Like if maybe once you're like level 10, you'll be cool enough to go there.
Oh, maybe then I'll be cool enough. Yeah, but she would just down the stairs and she would sit next to Strike. In the meantime, while waiting, just kind of
Strike has definitely finished his second ale by this point.
Strike? You good?
I'm an idiot. I was muted.
You gods damn it.
Basically, to summarize, Strike is just kind of mumbling to himself, losing it a little bit.
Well, eventually you're gonna have people just you'll have a couple other loot players and stuff kind of show up. I'll just gonna copy some tokens and say, hey, these are these people.
That's
As
them.
the Futori, and then Rexani would introduce you to his good friend Dealin from the 8th house. She's a Sinis, which is like dog people. They're small, they're whatnot. She's a bard by trade, definitely. Has a little flute or something that she plays on, and some drums and stuff. What do you do?
Eris would say,
Well, nice to meet you all. All I need from you is to just keep things upbeat. I don't want things slowing down for even a second. Got it?
They all look to each other and kind of nod, and Daylane is like, don't worry, I'll make sure we make you look even more beautiful.
Cool. Okay. Let's fucking do this.
and Eris is going to jump onto this table, not give a fuck about what's on it, and shout out,
Okay. Who's ready to forget that this night ever existed?
Screams and roars, clapping, yeah, kind of stuff.
Okay.
She looks over to her accompaniment and says,
Fucking hit it.
All right. There's a chord progression begins on the guitar, and then the flute kind of carries in, and then they just kind of create this like beginning thing off the cuff, kind of improv, and then slow it down and wait for Eros to kind of lead them along the way. People start to clap, laugh. Rexani's saying is like, half off drinks during the first song, and everyone's like, yeah. I'm like,
okay, then I'll do a performance check, and can we say I get advantage since I have accompaniment and it's not just me?
oh, indeed,
Uh,
and I'm.
Well, best performance I've rolled yet, so I will fucking take it.
Okay. For you, you're like, this is average, but everyone in the room is like they're in it. People are getting drunk, having their good time. For what's going on here. And there's a lot of like booze and cheering during this first, song. People seem to enjoy. Strike and Cotton, anything you want to add to the ambiance here?
Cotton is dancing. Maybe she can roll performance check as well.
Yeah, if you want to.
Because I think she's considered proficient. Let's see. Maybe her moves are okay.
You know what? Strike is
It's
drunk
keep-
enough. He's dancing
It's
too.
it's keeping in beat, Strike is not keeping in beat, but that's okay.
He's drunk.
He's drunk. Like it's like where he's there. He's probably, a lot of people are just staring at him because his movements are a little erratic.
He's having fun, and that's what matters.
I imagine the entire scene that's in my head is like they're playing like it's kind of like a swing jazz type of composition thing going on here. So like the normal pace that is in my head is that type of progression that you
Okay.
hear a lot, and yeah, then Eris is going along with that with a lot of improvised jazz lines as well as probably like she's dancing, hopping, like maybe table to table a little bit, getting in people's faces as well, and like slipping the straps of her outfit little just a little, a little bit here and there before like pulling it back up, not wanting to get into the full meat of it yet. We're not just there. That's probably like a third song type of
Okay.
spot.
Okay. Very cool. How long do you guys keep this up?
Uh,
Hmm.
well,
The show must go on.
I think the show. I think it's definitely like at the very least 30 minutes. Like you gotta go at least 30 minutes for a few songs.
Okay. Like 5 or 6. You can play through like 5 or 6 songs. A couple of them local songs that really get them jive. Couple that you learn from your travels with Cerulean, you know, early on. That, well, many of the ears here in the city haven't heard, and kind of draws them in a little more. This like weird jazz thing that you're doing, I guess. And uh I would like you all to roll a d4. Not Birdman, you're not here. Cotton, you two. Yeah. Okay, add that to your score. So Ragnar, this drunk time like helps him forget the fucked up shit. He kind of goes back to where he was.
Like, back to
Oh, that was easy.
you know, uh, back and forth to where those things are. Lust gets a little more relaxed about things, but there's still some of those memories that are there. And this just kind of makes Cotton just confirm, I guess, that hey, this is where things should be. So your overall sanity score add +4 to.
Excellent.
Yeah. So now we're just role playing through our insanity rather than doing the
Yeah, it's like
major.
you. Mhm. Yeah.
Rather than doing
We're
like
going
you don't have
back
to
to
do
the
the
fourth
babbling
here.
anymore. Like you just do it
No.
how you feel.
You do it how you think. If your sanity score is that number, you can you do it, and it is that number now, so you can just change it to 16. So like you can roleplay what that means to you, like how stable your character is with those situations. And if you feel like you want to lower it, whatnot, for whatever reason, cool. But most of the time, I'm gonna have you roll a sanity check to lower it to see if you can maintain it. Increasing it, I want it to be like cool
Okay.
roleplay stuff that we're doing, like characterization things.
Mhm.
So I imagine the by the last song she's like definitely naked. By then she's not wearing anything. At the very end of it all.
Okay. All right.
Um,
The rest of the night is up to you guys. Like, people are satisfied with the set. If you continue playing, people will about 3/4 of people will hang around, but then a lot of the people are going to start heading to bed. City isn't exactly 24 hours. Like it kind of is, but not really. Like certain parts of it are.
Eros.
Like where the dwarves hang out and things like that, it's 24 hours. Where the 12th house kind of has a 24-hour setup. But
Eros is
Drow.
gonna go over to Rexani. She's gonna sling her backpack over her shoulder, uh, and say, "Well, hope the night went. Hope business did well."
Oh, it was is quite good indeed. Here's your cut. It's great night, one of our best.
Thanks.
Hands you over some gold. And there's we'll just ease of ideas here. There's about 25 gold in there,
Ooh. Yes, I math correctly.
which means he made a good 100. He made a good 100 gold tonight, which is a lot. But he was selling a lot of good stuff too, along the way. So, you guys will go to bed as you see fit. That night, back at your apartment slash little cave situation that you guys
I
have.
say, y'all get home and Birdman is not here. He's not
Yeah,
inside the room.
I'm going to the gates and we'll proceed to do a little bit of digging, so we're not
Nah,
directly on
bro.
target.
You walk downstairs, and me and the kids are having the greatest time of our fucking lives. We're just like down there, like chilling, having a good time. Some of them are sleeping, some of them aren't. We're playing
It's like
solitaire.
very surprised.
It's great.
They're having a good time with the Birdman.
You just go downstairs and Birdman's down there. I don't know what the vibe with all of your kids is, but I don't know who would be sleeping right now. What time you guys get home? Because I've been home for I imagine an hour and a half by myself. So I don't know what the vibe with all of your kids are.
Oh, they're chill. Very
Yeah.
demanding though.
Some of them are sleeping. Some of them aren't. Some of them are still up
Why
playing
don't you
cards with the birds.
fly? Why are you tall?
Who's asking that?
How many rings do you have on?
So many.
I
It's
picture the druid. I picture is one of the ones that's most curious about his biology and
Althea,
Avis.
you can't
Avis
just
have
ask
the
me.
special tail thing that helps them flap their wings. Where's your? You don't have a tail.
he just I imagine Birdman can't respond, so he just kind of is nodding, no. How many rings do I have on? A lot. So many.
What's this box thing for with the handle?
And he would open it up, and then, oh fuck, what kind of shit would I have in there besides my paperwork? Oh man,
Pulls out another skull.
One of the first things that come to mind is a person's finger. That's one of the first.
Yeah.
things.
I just pull out something
You have blackmail on a guy.
Immediately slam it shut.
Well, no, it'd be I think it'd be a person's finger, but then it'd also be a sword would come out of it. So it's like a Mary Poppins briefcase. Hey, just put it in there. What else can I pull out of it? A fucking a bead necklace. Hey, just put it back in there. So yeah, it's just kind of like that. I'm just down there getting asked questions and playing cards. I imagine I'm playing cards with you're older too. And everybody else is just chilling. It's
Yeah, you're playing with the not the dragon board, the Squamata.
but he's happy though. But Birdman's chilling. He's just yeah, dude, this is great.
Birdman, roll me a d4.
Hell yeah.
All right, add that to your sanity score.
Birdman probably came downstairs after hearing them be loud and was like, "Hey, motherfuckers, shush."
I think our strike would probably be playing some hide and seek with Leandro.
Yeah, you come home and Birdman's just chilling downstairs, everybody oh hey, this is awkward. I'm gonna go, and then he just leaves. Oh, Steven, and then walks away. He just goes up the tunnel and goes back home.
Strike!
All your kids are wait, no, come back.
Each of you get an inspiration point as well. For the general Altapar evening scene. And
we're not done yet.
And just spreading the wealth, really. Okay. So, anything else you guys want to do before we go to the next day?
Start a bit of digging.
He can do his digging, but I have a scene in mind.
All right. I would like I would like you to roll a survival check strike with survival check.
What? My entire everything just fucked up. Can you just roll for me real quick?
Revival check.
revival check.
That's not what I want you to do.
Oh,
Okay. It's a natural
Um,
20. All right. Well, you're fine. You don't get, lost underneath the ground and don't cause a cave in, and it's all good.
I'm glad you rolled that one.
wait, so one day he might cause a cave in?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a whole earthquake, the entire city just poofs.
He's like level 12, and all of a sudden, just half the city gets hit.
That's how we
We'll see
take
what
out the
happens.
4th house.
Yay!
Oh, that's a pretty good idea.
fuck the
Alright.
4th house.
Unfortunately, it's metagaming.
All right. Well, what else do we do?
So, Cotton, did you say you had an idea? Or,
Or the night's over?
No.
okay. Then,
Other
since,
than the
wait,
Birdman coming home.
Yeah.
Not really.
so, since Birdman was in the cave when we all got there, Arrows would just have gone into the house and, like, grabbed some of the spare jerky that she keeps around and eat on that. It's not dinner, but it's something. And she would have looked for Birdman, seeing that he's not in his room, and then just kind of chilled out at their table, kind of keeping herself awake as she waits for him.
I guess he comes home about maybe like I don't know, like 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes after Strike gets home. And then comes back. So after all you guys get home about half an hour later, he'll come back upstairs. Hey.
It's easily almost 11 p.m. at night by this point.
Yep.
She would look at you. She would look deep into your Birdman eyes. And she would say, "Can we talk?"
He like shrugged your shoulders, like, I guess. And he sits down at the table.
Look, I knew, I know that there are very lucrative jobs that ask things out of us beyond what we ever did back out in the forest. I get that. Just how can you be so willing? You didn't have any information as to whether or not his wife and that dwarf even deserve to die. But you still accept it.
And since he doesn't have anything like to really repeat, I guess with his hands he kind of says, when you're treated badly, you feel like you should treat everyone badly. And then he says, accepted. Deserves to die.
She just kind of looks down at the table
But yes. I mean, I I guess I under not not entirely though. I just don't want I don't want you to be lost in all that.
And I guess an altar person was here 250 a person. Beef. Water. Kids.
I
Rent.
I get it. I know. We have to survive. I know that. I didn't come to the city to kill people. Just to kill them. I came to make something of myself. And thieving just made the most sense. So all of this death, it's a lot. I thought I was done seeing bodies.
She kind of like rubs her arm as like her memories of her childhood kind of flash before her eyes a little bit.
And then the Birdman kind of looks at you, and then he looks out, like he looks at the door, and he like starts like messing with a business coin in his hand. He's just like, like attorney at crime, attorney at crime,
If
attorney at crime, attorney.
look, if it turns out that if I don't think there's a good enough reason for either of them to die, I don't want to be a part of it. Okay? I just you you'll have to handle that on your own. I'm not going to lower myself to this city just to survive. I've seen what people do just to make gold. I'm not going there. Ever.
And he like furiously nods, like, yeah. Survive.
She would stand up from the table and like she would kind of reach to like stroke your feathers but would stop herself, and then she would just turn to her room and walk away saying,
Good night. I'll see you in the morning.
and then close the door behind her.
He says, We'll think about it.
Yep. Both of you get inspiration point. Very cool scene. Go to bed with some disquietude. And we wake up the next day, the third day of the month of light. You are probably woken up from a fresh sounds of the city. As you know, it's only about 3.5 days until the Festival of Blood gets in full force, which is one of the bigger kind of celebrations in the city of Salt, where they god butchers go to usually the femoral artery, but sometimes it's the jugular of the Tarrasque, and they kind of cut it open, and they kind of people bring buckets and things and gather up the blood, and then it's boiled down into various resources and whatnot over the year. And it's kind of one of the few times where like things are just given for free in the city, so to speak. But it's bloody, like it's nasty, like there's blood everywhere when it happens. So
I have an early appointment in the Tailstones this morning. I have a speech to watch.
Yeah, Eros is same. Normally she would make breakfast, but she just. I imagine they have like a nice, like I said, she keeps dry food, so there's definitely a good ration of jerky that she keeps
Yeah.
around and tells Strike to back the fuck away from.
Actually, Strike would be the one cooking. I've planned this before. As a matter of fact, so he's doing that now.
So what she
He is
just,
a cook, yeah.
she
We
walks
just
into
wake
the
up to
kitchen.
Strike cooking, like, huh? Like,
It
what the-
happens that like you guys have known each other for over a year. It happens every so often. Well, it's only not that long, but I imagine Eros does most of the cooking, and then like 10% of the cooking is Strike.
And Strike's gotta be good at cooking. He has kids.
Yeah, no, he probably cooks more than you guys realize just because of the kids, like kind of thing. It's just I imagine it wasn't until the last couple months that you guys were even aware of the kids situation, anyways. So it's kind of like a new development, anyways. With how like he's been at it for actually a couple years, but as Strike has been in the city like a year or so longer than you guys have. Well, then all of you, but Cotton's been in here like the city the longest of all of you. So okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Eros
So
would just walk out of the room and run. Even though Stoke is there, would say, "Oh, I didn't. You're cooking."
I am.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting this. I was just going to grab rations for the morning, but this is better. Here,
Well,
let me help.
it's fine. It's fine. I've got it.
No.
Just Eros. Just sit down. Let me
Mm, you're gonna have to outpersuade me.
This is not up for discussion.
Can I
I'm
take
not
this? Can
persuaded.
I
This
take
is
this
not up for
opportunity to
discussion.
sneak out of my room and just walk away? Like I'm like,
roll a stealth versus their passives. You got to beat Eris's 20.
Technically,
So
I got
Eros
a
doesn't see.
19 in persuasion, and Eros will also not take no for an answer. So
Well, okay.
Nope, I'm helping. Cooking is my thing.
And you have to beat me at a strength check for me sitting you at the table.
I imagine
I'll take
through
that
all of
offer.
this, I imagine through all of this, you just see a bird skull like creep out of the door. Like,
And neither of them see you got a 24.
Go back. I do the crunk thing up against the wall, like I just sneak through, like dun 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 dun. Just like out the door as quietly
Arrow-
as possible.
Eros is
Just like,
slipping
bye.
while you're doing that. Eros is like slipping around.
And it's not just
Strike's
them,
fur.
it's like 3 of the kids too, and Cotton. You slip past everyone in this chaos in the morning.
I just
So
fucking
just
look
all
out
the
and there's like a bunch of kids in my house. Like, oh no! I do what I did in my house, like when I was living with my sister. I'm just like, I have to sneak past all the children, like make sure, like, is there anybody here? No, okay. Like, look in Cotton's room. Is Cotton sleeping?
I love
Like,
it.
I leave.
love
I
it.
fucking
Cotton
leave.
is laying on a bed and she's curled up in a ball because she's a cat.
To make sure that Cotton doesn't see me, then I look at the thing. I make sure all of the children aren't looking at me. I look at Eros and I'm just like, goodbye. I leave. I just fucking did. See you later.
Eros is like just slipping around like Ragnar's all of Strike's attempts to sit her down.
Strike just sighs and accepts it. Alright, fine.
You know I slip in wherever I want.
Yes, I do.
I go to the Tailstones.
Okay. Well, kids are waiting for food, and it's, general chaos if you've ever been in a family larger than 2 people.
Oh my god.
In the
That shit
morning.
is- dude.
But
I have not, but I know the tales.
yes, I
Eventually,
come from a family of 5 kids, so like general chaos in the morning.
My sister has 9 little gremlins, so there are.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, I can only imagine.
Oh my god, yeah, it's fucking horrid.
eventually,
And I always wake up at like 2 in the afternoon too, so I wake up and like shit has already gone down. I'm like, oh no.
Oh lord.
Uh, Eros would say to Leandra,
So, Leandra, how'd you like the dress?
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm gonna wear it for the festival. But I don't. And then she realizes that she was told earlier that the festival, like, there's blood in the streets going to be up to her ankles at least. And she's like, she's like processing that it's gonna probably get dirty. So, maybe I won't wear it for the festival, but I will wear it sometime in the next week. I just I have to run errands today for, you know, we're getting ready for. I don't know. There's something that. Now my brain's like, is there school here? That's my brain.
probably
Your little druid child is going to be my favorite. Your
It's
little
probably
Like
more
druid
like
this-
apprentice.
this-
Yeah, it's
be
probably
like-
like apprentice stuff. Like maybe Leandra's like one like. I don't know, she's kind of like roguey, so she probably is interested in what Cotton does.
Yeah,
Most
just
of
put suggested classes for them in the sheet.
Yeah.
So.
I could Cotton probably teach her.
What
No, it's just like little minor.
He's already
errands
taught her
and
how to
things.
sneak, so
Now it's like to work on her stamina and like speediness, which is the equivalent of like your cunning.
Your dark elf druid child will be my favorite.
Which one?
Both of them. All of them.
what with a passive insight of 18, would Eros have intuited what
did the
Leandra meant? That she wouldn't want to get it dirty?
Yeah.
Okay. Eros would would say,
Leandra, come here.
Leandra would kind of like skip over on all fours and then rise back up on
And-
her back legs in
and-
front of you.
and Eros will like take a bit of the food crap. Nothing that's like gonna be hot, but her hands are dirty from cooking, and so she's gonna rub that on the front of Leandra's shirt or whatever it is she's wearing right now.
She like, yeah, did you got a house back? Ew, what's that?
And then Eros casts prestidigitation on it.
And like as she's like looking at it and smelling it, it just disappears, and her eyes blink, and she looks up at you and cocks her head, and then looks over to Strike, and is like, "What?"
And then Eros
Magic.
Eros will also like grab onto her shirt and rip it, and then cast mending on it.
You can wear whatever you want whenever you want. And if you need it cleaned or fixed, just come to me.
Okay. Yeah. That's really cool. I didn't know you could do that. Like, Strike has like, huh? He said that people could do this, that can do magic. I don't know. That's cool. Well, she just kind of blinks a few more times, and then there, Donovan and the others at the table are sitting down for food, and she like skitters over there to like grab some food herself.
Strike's just snickering to himself. Don't scare her like that. She's never seen magic before.
I mean, not that scary. It's not like, I started reading her mind or anything.
No, why would you do something like that?
Oh. I mean, I really wouldn't. Not exactly.
The way you're saying it makes me think you would.
Well.
And then Strike just pats Eros on the head.
Maybe one day.
As she kind of like thinks to herself.
Like, I have the disguise self spell. Maybe I could walk in as Strike one day. Like a short strike into the cave.
I would love to see that.
But other than that, Eros would just
Eat breakfast with the little shits.
You guys need to go grocery shopping. Sometime today. For you guys have cooked quite a bit of food in the last couple days. So you'll need to go buy some food for the house in general. For things. Other than that, you guys don't really have anything on their docket other than what you guys want to do. Like you for this day, like there's nothing that you have to do today that you guys have arranged. So
Yeah, just going shopping and doing some training with the little ones. Probably gonna do some martial arts practice with the boys and Adira. Some sneaking practice with Leandra and Althea. Can't really teach her magic. That's the Vulpin dude, who's yet unnamed and unseen.
for sure. So probably go down in the deep part of the tunnels to meet up with that guy. And if you guys didn't hear what he said Vulpin are old fox folk. They're tiny little, like less about a foot tall little fox people that are very connected to nature. Little Animaesus. They speak Canaan like wolves and Canis too. But I don't know, probably pretty old by your standards of Animaesus. He's easily in his 50s or 60s. Kind of
Also the
in.
one who introduced Strike to the spirit in the first place.
Mm-hmm. So deeply connected to like the nature that was part of this land before, the city took over 270 some odd years ago. So, they're both L's, aren't they? Lyra, no. Adira, no. Althea, there's an L in there. See, I was getting there. I've had to learn 300 new names this week, so excuse me.
Holy shit!
My And I don't know them. I just have been introduced. I guess the better verb is I've been introduced to 300 new names this week.
There's
So my
Althea, Adira, Leandra, Rogar, and Donovan.
yeah, that's why I put them on their token so I could see them. I was just looking at a different map. But thank you. Yes, Adira, Althea is meeting with the Vulpin and is probably down in the caves. I picture it's like a sinkhole kind of situation, you know, where it's like it's open to the sky and there's like hanging down moss and vines and leaves and maybe a tree that grows up in the middle of it that reaches up that's super fucking tall. And like they meet at the roots of that tree in this sinkhole that like connects to the tunnels from underneath the city. And it's probably outside the city. This guy probably tries to avoid as much of the city as possible, um, just because of how disgusting it is to nature. But um, teaching her just the basic shit, you know, like what her like probably working on the two basic cantrips, you know, that she's gonna start with when she hits level 1, you know, whatever those will be, like teaching her all, introducing to all of them, and then seeing which ones she kind of narrows in on, and then teaching all of the first level spells, and then getting her to actually harness enough spell power to quote unquote have a couple spell slots to actually like cast them, other than just to like have the words and the reagents to do so. It's that spiritual energy takes time to build and practice and things like that. So she's probably still a decent ways away from any of those things. Maybe get close to a cantrip here in the next couple months, but it takes time. It's not like magic is not something that's easy to learn most of the time unless it's gifted to you. And she's, you know, druidism, it is divine magic. You have to appease you have to appease the ancient nature to, allow them. So she has to, network, I guess, for like a way to put it, with nature, figure out those connections with them.
I mean, I
How
can teach her. I can teach her some nature magic. That's what I
Yeah,
do.
I imagine you would do more of like the applied sciences, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
more of like out in nature, how to hunt, how to track, how to, like cure magic and, evocation magic, where this guy's probably more like conjuration and like transmutation magic and things like that.
Mm.
And, kind of mix those two things where she probably, that makes sense. I could see that. Um, Spending
So
some time with her.
that's all I figured. Althea and Adira would make a pretty good druid paladin combo, like Oath of Ancients, something like that.
Yeah, Adira's out there, yeah, getting connected with which is really weird to say, but hey, a drow getting connected with the ancient Animaesus gods of nature, to allow that paladin connection. As she's just a she's a pretty decent fucking fighter. She's pretty good with, a sword, so to speak, in her hand. Uh, and I imagine Donovan, her, and Rogar daily kind of fight each other and tag team each other and whatnot. And Leandra probably gets involved every now and then too. I, as comes in and helps Adira when the two boys gang up on him and ends up like knocking one of the boys on their ass, quote unquote, sneak attacking them, right? And just
I like to
out of
imagine
nowhere.
that's mostly Donovan.
Yeah, this is Donovan gets overconfident and tries to like team up with Rogar against Adira, even though Rogar's like, "I got it, man, I got it," like, and Donovan's just, he get pack tactics. It gets so it takes over. um,
Um, I would have Eros would have said this before everyone started like leaving to go do their own thing. She would say, "Remember, everyone, Terry will be here today, so make sure you just fuck off for quite a while, and everything should be fine."
right.
Good thing
Okay.
I've expanded.
hmm Made it easier for the kids and to get away in the tunnels. So it just looks like an old tunnel instead of like where people are living. Down there. Okay. Birdman, and you're going where?
I am going to a speech.
Oh, that's right. The lady's speech.
In the Tailstones, yeah.
And Eros eventually will also go to that speech too.
But I'm
Okay.
getting a good ass look.
Then I guess Drag is doing the grocery shopping.
Eros would hand you a list of what she normally gets too. Just so you're not like completely lost.
Not just meat.
Yeah, not just meat. There are other things. You need some, if you can, get some spices, but things here and there.
Okay. We can account for that in a moment. Lady Altipar's speech, and I forgot about Terry. That's okay. Terry coming to investigate because he's heard giggling of late. Okay.
I will remember
So
us over.
the Terry's probably not going to come by until later in the afternoon. Just I don't picture him as a morning person.
He
In any
never
way, shape,
sleeps,
or
but he
form.
doesn't do anything in the morning.
No. He's just he needs his time to just sit there in his chair and yell at the birds.
Fuck you,
Might
Birdman.
occasionally. And then so I imagine this speech kind of happening, mid morning. You guys have a couple hours to kill probably there, as it'll only take you like 30-40 minutes to walk there. To the other side of the city. And in the Tailstones, is there anything you guys want to do before the speech in the city?
I
What
guess
time is the speech at? Like, is it like kind of
It's
later
like
in the
10, and
afternoon?
you guys are like it's like 8:30 or 9 probably by this point. It'll only take you like 30 minutes to walk there, so you got like 30 minutes if there's something else you wanted to do.
I mean, I guess if because Birdman obviously left long beforehand,
Yeah.
so that probably gave him a 20-minute head start.
Yeah, Birdman probably has like an hour to kill by the time he gets to the place. Like there's a couple of people starting to gather, but it's not really.
I wonder if I have an hour to kind of check in on like if I have any like cases or anything, I suppose. Like if there's anything like pending. If there's not, then I would run straight to the Tailstones. Because like I know the courts and probably the courthouse is up by where the districts are. And then I would make my way down to the Tailstones when like the time of the speech. Because if I got to the Tailstones and figured out that the speech wasn't for another like hour and a half, I would be like fuck. And then I'd like run back up there, maybe check my office, like if I have any pending messages or whatever. And like if I don't, then just go back down. Fuck it. Take a stroll through the city. Because I can go through the city kind of fast if I choose to do so.
There's one message
Oh.
from, and you roll me a history check to see if you can remember where you've heard the name. I don't know, maybe you will remember. From Roxana. You've met her recently. About how she got into some trouble last night and she needs some help.
Huh. I don't think I remember that name. I have to
Roll a
think.
history check to see if Birdman remembers. He does not.
No. Roxana.
A lot has happened. Roll an insight check to see if you can kind of guess based upon the, quote unquote people with female names.
Yeah.
Someone at the 13th house last night night before when you were there. Maybe when Care Halls was being the asshole, maybe.
Huh. Yeah, okay, sure.
That's the only thing that rings a bell. Kind of.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I'll investigate that if I have the time. Like sure.
Yeah. They want to meet you at the Herald's Tavern.
Like right now?
No, you probably. They say they'll be there all day.
Okay, so I have. Okay, so I know.
So they're
that's where I have
waiting
to
for
go
you.
afterwards.
You can control when you want to go there.
Okay.
But they'll be there all day. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, sweet. So I'm like, sweet. And then I take a thing, and then I'm like, okay, well, let me head back to the Tailstones now because I have to go back down. Just kill an hour. I haven't
Okay.
eaten yet, so probably find some street food or something to eat.
Okay, so yeah, Birdman
Yeah, because
goes
the courts are
to
all the
his
fuckery up
office,
here.
and then like takes the little outside road here, and eventually goes to the Tailstones, and you have to cut across the way. That's down there-ish. All right, where you, the rest of you were starting at your apartment, which is back here.
Stir fry? Oh, fuck.
Oh man.
So, the rest of you are there. And then you're meeting up with him. So you guys are like, you know, you have a half hour. If you go straight there, you'll have like 20, 30 minutes to kill. Just wait there if there's something you guys wanted to do along the way. Otherwise, you can just meet him there, I guess.
I mean, okay, so Strike, you're handling things like groceries and the kids, and
Yes.
Arrow. Okay, and then I'm going to.
Okay.
Was it
What does Cotton
Tailstones?
want to do? Yeah, the Tailstones, yeah. Where Birdman is, pretty much.
Cotton.
It's gonna be on that bridge right there. Actually, the speech, that's where she's supposed to have the speech, is that bridge. But what does Cotton want to do?
Cotton is unfortunately not with us. Still having issues.
That's right. I thought they came back. I heard that must have been the thingy vaping. No worries. Hopefully there's internet comes back soon. Okay, so I'm just gonna say Cotton will hang out with Strike and just be with Strike. I think that makes the most sense for now, and that's the least likely for like antagonism in the current moment. Um,
Eros, and Eros is.
and you.
You can go. You can finish first.
No, I was just gonna remind you, if you haven't done your long rest shit, you guys did just have a long rest.
Yeah. Okay, so Eros is going to, while walking through the streets, she's going to cast on herself disguise self.
All right, what do you look like?
She looks like kind of your average. If I can, I'd like to make myself look like an Animaesus, particularly a. Let
Okay, how tall? You're like 5'3", 5'4"?
Yeah, she's 5'4".
Okay. You could make yourself anything from a wolf, like a coyote person, to anything bigger than that. You like a bigger cat or a bigger wolf, a badger.
Yeah,
Some of the really small, you'd look too
yeah,
big.
yeah. No, I'm thinking more like a Punthera.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You could if you want to do it's like panther, mountain lion, jaguar, however you want to look. That's usually what their patterns look like.
Yeah, and the clothing is just kind of a peasant, typical like peasant type clothes, nothing fancy or special.
Okay. Disguise self as a Punthera peasant.
Yeah, and she's just doing that as she walks along. That way, she isn't recognized by anyone while she's by herself. And eventually getting to the Tailstones. Um, unless she somehow happens to run, or technically, yeah, see or run into Birdman. Minus one. What am I doing with my life? With a pass of 20, like as I'm walking around kind of the area where the speech is going to happen, would I run into Birdman?
Find me eating stir fry if you do.
Yeah.
It's like-
Unless he's trying to stay hidden, he's easy to pick out. There's not Avis are not the most common Animaesus in the city, so any bird
it
and
does say
his beak is huge.
it does say when I'm traveling alone, I can move at a stealthy pace at normal pace.
That's true. So it's up to him whether
Yeah.
or not he because
I probably would be moving stealthily. I definitely don't want to get stabbed by rats in the tailstone. That is not a good fucking plan, especially not at 9 o'clock in the morning. That is not something I want
So
to be
with
doing.
that mechanic, Birdman, you can, for passive stealth, if that ever comes up again, you have a +5 to your passive stealth while you're doing that.
Shit. Well, what is my passive stealth? Because I'm proficient in it.
Whatever, like 10
So it
plus
would
whatever your
be
current bonus
10
is.
plus
Probably
So
21.
it'd be 10 plus 3 plus 6 plus another 5 would be 21. Yeah. So
So like Birdman, you can control in most passive situations when you want people to see you.
right.
Like when you're in the city, you know the city after the last 2 years that well. So
When I'm
with
not
that
looking to
bonus,
be found, yeah.
yeah. So as long as it's not magic oriented, right? So
Right.
yeah. So which is fucking amazing for like
For a
just wanna,
for
I
a
just
very
wanted to
very
tell you
outstanding man.
like for the kind of campaign we're playing, that is such a useful skill. So honestly, it's such a useful
Yeah.
ability.
If I don't want to be found,
That's one of the things I love about Rangers is they really have to like be flavored right for the right setting.
I'm
Like, 'cause they're-
I'm Aragorn in this stir fry place right
Yeah.
now, dude. I'm like in the corner.
Yeah, so like, I imagine Birdman might probably sees you come in and makes waves or whatever.
Well,
Or
I'm
you see him across the
See,
way.
that depends your
never know.
disguise. So I wouldn't know if it was actually
That's
arrows.
true.
I could figure it
That's
out. I
true.
mean, I could I don't know if I could roll an
okay.
insight check for
Well-
something like that.
Well, you're walking around eating food, so I imagine Eros would see you first then. But
Yeah.
if you wanna roll an inside check as they're walking up to see if you pick up that this is Eros by body language,
because I imagine
or
if I
like-
were to roll an actual stealth check, if Eros rolled an actual perception check, I'm sure eventually she would find me.
yeah. No,
But it's about
not-
whether I know that person is
like
Eros or
you're in a
not.
crowd and they're that you're just watching people, and then you see
Yeah.
you see this Poomthera look at you, and then you look away, and then they're like walking closer to you, like, who the fuck is this Poomthera? Yeah, you're
Right.
pretty sure it's Eros.
I
I
would
don't know, like,
recognize
it's
those
body
clothes
language.
anywhere. I would
It's body
recognize
language.
those clothes
Well, yeah, because
anywhere.
you can't change the clothes. Well,
you
you can
can.
change the clothes.
I can.
Oh, you
It's
can?
body
Clothing,
language. You
armor.
pick up. It's something about the Poomthera's swagger that just is like that's just Eros.
I
There's
see.
something about the way they're walking that there's like you don't know what it is. The way they hold their shoulders.
There's something
you
in the
know?
way you move, man. Don't know what it is, but
I-
there's something in the way you move.
I like the way you move.
I like the way you move.
Because I imagine that's larger than Eros's passive stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, her passive stealth is I think it's only a 16. Yeah, it's only a 16.
So
Yeah.
he just
So
he
like
walks
the
up
average
and-
person isn't picking up on any of that stuff.
So
but-
if you walk up, he just says, "Hello."
You slipped out?
He looks at you like, "Okay, we're going straight to the point of like you're not even trying to hide yourself now." Like, okay.
Well, at this
He's like-
point, Eros would kind of she would dip slightly into an alley for like 2 seconds to dispel the self because she's with a friend now. She's only doing that if she's alone. So she'd be back in her quote unquote normal clothing. She has her jacket on due to precautions. But she's kind of just wearing a pretty deep V-neck shirt with shorts on at the moment.
Arrows.
Birdman?
Yeah. Just- Arrows.
Birdman.
Birdman.
Eros.
Fuck.
Shit.
Soof.
Eats stir fry. Like it sticks it in his mouth. Fuck. Eating. You slipped out last night. Or you slipped out this morning.
I was kind of surprised, but I guess I was a little distracted.
Distracted. Kids. You're cooking.
Yes, it was a very strange morning. Was not expecting that at all.
You'll have to roll a physical check to get past me.
Oh fuck. Look, about last night, there's nothing. I don't want you to think that I'm disappointed in you or upset at you. Okay, it's just this is all a lot for me. Okay, you're still my Birdman.
He like looks at you. It's like, okay.
And she goes and she hugs him. She hugs the bird.
He's like, probably has like chopsticks in his hand. Like, the fuck?
Oh, this is what's been happening for 3 years.
And you're just like, she's giving a speech in the Tailstones tomorrow.
Yep. And
This morning.
And I have an idea. So, we're gonna watch the speech, and
Watch the speech.
I'm going to try and peer into her mind. When the speech is over,
to her mind,
she's going to leave, of course, and you should follow her.
She's going to leave. You should follow her.
Exactly.
And he looks confused. Like, wait. Points at himself.
Yes,
Follow her.
You follow her, not me. You.
Thumbs up.
So, I'll keep in touch with some spells, and once she's like stationary or gone somewhere particular, then I'll use a bit of divination magic and see what she's doing inside.
So, she's going to start the speech. Peer into her mind with magic. She's going to leave. Points at himself. Follow her. Be in touch with spells. Thumbs up. Get your thumbs up. Nice.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Unless,
Okay.
well, we might not have to do all that. There could be something else that happens. I mean,
Something else that happens.
if she truly is evil enough or bad enough to deserve this divorce, then, well, she should do something very obvious. As we all know, if someone is truly bad, they will, of course. Oh, God. Sorry. I'm laughing to myself. They will break out in a song and monologue their entire evil plan.
He looks at you the most confused a Birdman could look at you. They will break out into song and express their evil monologue if they are truly evil.
Well, yeah, it's just a quick way to, glance.
No.
Yeah. This happened.
I don't have any more inspiration points to give right now.
No.
This happened all the time at the brothels. All the time. Whenever there was
the brothels.
Whenever there was someone who was planning something, they would just break out into maniacal song for like no reason. I'm saying it would just be the quickest way to notice things, okay?
Quickest way to notice things. Points at himself. Follow her. No.
Again, if she does that, it would be the quickest thing.
Breaks out into song to say evil monologue.
But if she doesn't, we go along with plan A. That's just a possibility. I'm saying
Possibility.
probably 5% chance.
5% chance. Plan A. And he gives you like that little like yes. Evil monologue? No.
Huh.
Eat stir fry.
Every session I love Birdman more.
I love the circles that we get into that actually turn into straight lines somehow. You know, like he keeps bringing us back to things we've already said, but somehow it still pushes us forward. You know what I mean? Like I love it.
This is nothing short of art.
Birdman is not what we deserve, but it's what we need.
Yeah. Eat stir fry.
So yeah, so we wait. Now we wait.
Okay.
And scene. Perfect. We're good. Oh my
Before I get to the speech, then
It was so hard.
No.
we have Strike with Cotton going grocery shopping with the kids. You're gonna go to one of the larger general store chains in town, which I should have a name for, but I don't. So we're gonna come up with a name for right now.
Big B's grand store of everything.
Big B's Grand Store. I love it. Big B's Grand. Yes, the store for everything. And little do you know, if you look at the actual 5 print of the business license, which Birdman's aware of because he helped them keep their business license when they were being sued for fraud, not fraud, money laundering. But nonetheless, they're owned by Wavler Incorporated. But they are an very urban general store. They have a lot of what you need here. They deal in general goods, which is like tools and adventuring gear, hammers, basic clothes, candles, baskets, whatnot. But store food for like flour and salt and wheat and things, but they also, have a relatively decent the word is escaping me. Like food. Why can't I think? Like grocery stores. Why was that word hard for me? I don't know. But there's it's kind of like in like medieval terms, it's more like a section of it just feels like a large tavern. Like you could sit down and order food and whatnot, but you can also just like get like stuff stocked up and put in like meat and potatoes and rice and eggs and whatnot that they have here. They are food is just food is if it's not Tarask related, it's relatively more expensive than the average price of things. You guys have a decent amount of change on you, so it's probably not going to hurt you guys too much, but in that aspect. But like for the average person, something that's more than a couple copper is expensive. And this place, it's usually like at least like 5 copper or something for most things, and they don't sell water for under a silver per cup, and that's expensive. If you go where Eros and Birdman grew up, and even where Strike was from in his early years, like you could just go to a stream. Water's fucking free. Like charging water is something hard for you three. It's just the city is weird with how they do things as far as you're concerned. But there's no clean water. You guys have been here long enough that you can't just go find clean water somewhere. It just doesn't exist. You have to like go buy it from someone that keeps it clean somewhere special and safe. And purify food and water is anyone that can do that, they can make bank in this town. And you
So
get the
Strike's making a
impression
mental note. He's gonna try next time he gets the opportunity to build a simple water purifier. Somehow.
Yeah, you can also buy water purification. There's purification kits. I added them as part of my adventuring gear. You can buy they're non-magic. You can buy purification kits. They only have a limited uses, so for you guys it would like last a week for one of them before you'd have to buy another one. Which is relatively expensive, I guess, in some ways. But you know, if you're out just running around adventuring out in the world, it's not too bad. But that's part of this City and Wild Magic Dungeon Master's Guide thing that I bought a couple years back that just has a lot of cool shit that someone put together. But as well as like the different kinds of weird animation and whatnot. But I guess what do you I'll share that document with you, so maybe it's a little easier for you to like a little easier for us to talk about it. I have a Google Doc version of it. Yeah, got it. Yes, that's the right one. But I'll put it, yeah, here. That's fine. And there's all sorts of shit in here, and I use this all the time as I'm like talking to you guys. I think it'll be easier to just talk about some things that way to give you like a basic idea of what's there. But from pages like 10 to 25-ish, it just has like different shops and kind of like general prices for like gear and shit, and it just helps me get a good general. But I'm gonna let you know this shop is like at least 50% to double the price of what like the average is. But they have everything. So like pretty much. That's a general store and like food, like and like tavern. They don't have like every shop that's there, but yeah, kind of thing. So you guys can look through that at your leisure. You don't have to use that, but that's what I'm using to kind of gauge things because they kind of put it all in one spot instead of looking through the player's handbook, the DMG, at the same time. And then they added a lot of cool shit like yogurt. I didn't think about adding yogurt, but there's a price for yogurt.
Yogurt?
There's a price for yogurt. It's 2
Like
silver.
Greek yogurt?
Well, sure, we'll say that's 4 silver.
Mm.
I love Greek yogurt. I have one every day. It's like
Dude,
one
I
of my
get
favorite
down on
things.
some Greek yogurt.
I have a little cup of Greek yogurt at least once a day. I love it.
I
It's
see
very
saffron's
good.
just
It's
as
very
expensive
good for
here in
you.
real life.
Yeah, there's
It's very good for
saffron
you.
and wheat and different things you guys can like bake with and stuff like that. And like I'm totally cool. Like I want us in this campaign. The mundane stuff matters more than in the previous campaigns we played it because we're not traveling as much. You guys have to deal with more of like the average common day things. So I think I don't know. We'll see how
I
it plays out.
suppose some wheat would, well, of course, be rather practical to grow on food, but would also make for great practice for Althea to practice her nature magic.
That's true.
So I'm
How
going to get a bunch of that.
Okay. They have 5, kind of what is it? Bushels or whatever you want to say of wheat available at 3 copper apiece, which is
3
expensive for the
copies.
wheat. But still.
Um,
So they got 5 times 3 is 15 copper or 2 silver if you wanted to like tip them. I'll buy it all.
Let me just open a notepad to keep track of everything I'm gonna buy. First of all, arrows. What you put on the list? How long is that list?
I mean, it's not too extensive. It's more like
Imagine it's like enough to get you guys through the week.
yeah,
Like this is like one of these bushels will get you through the week
yeah,
if you
I'm
bake
taking
more.
it all.
yeah.
Like one of them, like if you wanted to buy all 5, you would have enough for a month. Like no, you'd have enough for almost 3 months with how I do my calendar.
Yeah, taking them all.
Okay, so that's 2 silver. They'll kind of if you they kind of like to round up here, uh,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, that's okay. So wheat for a month. All right.
Yeah, as far as anything really goes, it's like anything that's supposed to be fresh, she buys on the day. But
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of dry type of things. Like
Yeah.
she might get more jerky or some cheap spices. things like that. Flour, if
Salt
maybe.
salt is dirt cheap. Like there's a huge salt mine that's part of the tunnels.
Yeah, definitely gotta
So
have salt.
salt is really cheap.
In the city of salt.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean,
And
if you're buying a shitload of wheat,
other
though, we make
any
our own bread.
yeah.
It's way cheaper.
Oh yeah. Well, no, that's what I mean. Like the wheat will
Yeah.
last you way longer. Like
Yeah.
if you just buy a loaf of bread with how many mouths you have to feed, that's like maybe a day.
Yeah.
Like maybe. Like that's not even. Like if everyone's like only gets one meal, yeah, sure.
But if we make
Uh,
like a bunch of loaves of bread in like a week with all the wheat, then yeah, like with
Well,
flour and all that
like
stuff.
I'm gonna just roll with what I said that you have 5 bushels. 1 bushel is enough to live off for a week, so that's like 3 or 4 loaves of bread. You know, you guys have like 10 mouths to feed, so
That's a
Yeah.
lot. Let's see. We have a playing card set, but do we have anything else? Maybe a die set, dragon chess.
I don't know if anyone else is proficient in any of those.
In what?
Any of the gaming sets he's asking.
I am
Dice.
proficient in cards, gaming sets, yeah. But
I
other
don't
than
think
that,
anyone else is proficient. Like it doesn't mean you can't use
No.
them. You can still play with them, but if you wanted to buy a nice set, they're there.
I was also going to do. How's our cooking utensils looking like? Are they still kind of fresh? About at the point where we need to replace them?
Your cooking utensils are fine for now.
Alright. In that case, I'm also getting some carpenter's tools and woodcutter's tools, because that's something I've already established I want to practice doing.
Okay. He'll settle on I don't know 10 gold for both,
Let me just write it down.
and we'll say Big B is a big, like fat bugbear.
That makes too much sense.
Big fat bugbear. Okay, so 10 gold, and then for those two, and then he if you scroll down to the tavern page, he has they have whatever's in up through they have whatever's on that page. Like he has access to all that stuff. Like food is like their thing. So there's also some crazy foods on there.
Ooh, potatoes!
So if you just
Let me get some potatoes, some cheese, bit of rice. I'd say enough for like.
the tavern page is listed for like if you go to a restaurant and buy one of them. So it's unfortunate how they do that. But nonetheless, if you're buying cheese and whatnot, like some of them are listed as chunks and things like that that have bigger parts to them. But nonetheless, you could also just go by the lodging kind of thing. That's what I do sometimes, where we could just hey, you could just spend and say it's all these things, but you spend okay, we for one person to exist on a modest kind of living for a day to have 3 basic meals, da 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 that day it's 5 silver, kind of thing. We kind of fudge those rules sometimes with those things, but I also know that, in a medieval time, a lot of people just save money when hungry, here and there. So we're just
How
kind of,
long would aristocratic 4 gold pieces last for everyone?
aristocratic to me is like, I don't know. There's the other thing in the player's handbook where it talks about size quantity, right? Where a medium creature needs a pound of food a day and a gallon of water, kind of thing. It talks about in there. So it's I imagine aristocratic. That's if a modest is 5 silver, aristocratic's 4 gold. I'm just putting it trying to equate just the difference with that. If 1 pound is modest, right? That's an aristocratic is
that's like lobster tail for dinner every night type shit.
Mhm. Well, that's aristocratic is well, that one day you're probably having enough food for 4 people,
So you can have
you
whatever you
know?
want.
Like looking at that, I think a gold a day is worth one person's modest food consumption. Honestly. So if we want to put it in that terms, because some of these like fall or under 1-2 silver, which makes sense. Like if you really wanted to buy, potatoes for a week, baked potato for a week, that's 1 silver. It's not a baked potato. That's probably like 5 copper. That's still
Yeah, let me get
basic.
potatoes, cheese, and rice for a week.
Okay.
You said 5 copper potatoes for a week?
Well, it's 5 copper for a potato. So I'm saying like for a week, that's 5 times math. I hate math.
5 times 10.
Make my
50.
50. Okay, that's 5. That's 5 silver.
All right.
For potatoes.
5 silver. Same for cheese, I would assume. Would be at 1 gold. And rice. And would be at 1 gold, 5 silver. Alright.
Okay.
We're at 7 silver and 11 gold right now. It's not too bad, actually. All we really need are some spices and probably some bread until we manage to make it up.
And water, which is not what it's listed there in price.
How much is it, did you say it was water? Probably like 5 times the amount.
Water
Water's fucking
is
expensive.
expensive as fuck. Just for the flavor of the city and most of the reasons. But we'll say for you guys to, I don't know, you probably need their kids. That's 1, 2.
One barrel of
There's
water.
8 of you. A barrel of water. If I wanna, how mean do I want to be? Is the
Hopefully not
question.
very.
We've
But,
been
you
through
know.
a lot of trauma. Cut us some slack.
Little trauma. A little bit of trauma.
We
Okay,
live in a city that exists only because of a giant corpse. Like, I feel like being mean is just the nature of things.
in some ways, it
Also
is.
true.
Let me
I would
look
hope not very
at-
because you like us, but you know.
I-
Whatever.
This man just threw rats at us.
Seth confirmed doesn't like us. Unfortunate.
Unfortunately.
That's not. Okay.
Fuck.
Let's say if you're buying like a barrel of water for your like week that for the people to like kind of go through here, we'll say 10 gold.
10 gold. There discount for anything for how much I'm buying?
Not on water.
Unless you
Grander,
talk
he
to
has
The
his
only
favorite
other
one.
option is that you guys narrate and roleplay that on a daily basis you go to the 13th district with the kids to get their free water distribution. It's the only other way, but that's like you're going to like the brothels.
Wait,
That's
we
what it
have a
is.
ranger. What are we buying food for?
That's true.
a ranger in a
To be fair,
in a city.
If he wants to go out the city and hunt, sure.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're stealing food.
Yeah, and I don't want to steal food.
Oh,
I mean,
that's where you draw the line.
I wouldn't be opposed
That's
to
very
stealing
true.
food. I don't want to
Well,
get
steal-
caught for
okay,
stealing
okay.
something as stupid as food.
In this city, stealing food or water is a worse offense than murder.
Yeah, I imagine he knows that as a lawyer. So
Like it is a worse offense than murder. They will be more ruthless if they catch you stealing food or water than if they caught you with murder. Like hands
So
down.
yes,
It's
that
a
is where I
backward.
draw the
It's a
line.
backwards because those people unfortunately are a less precious resource than those things are.
So
You
yes,
can't-
unfortunately, Strike, in my moral dilemmas that I'm facing, that is where I draw the line: is stealing food, which is
And the
probably
amount
of-
really
And
weird.
the amount of water that the
but-
13th district gives out is based upon how much you're willing to sell your body and or mind and or soul to their deals, as Eros well knows.
Yes, I'm making a feedlog next. All right. In
That's
addition to
probably
all of
that's
that-
probably a very strange conundrum I run into. I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking kill a guy for money, but I'm not gonna steal food.
Wait.
Like,
Oh yeah, I'll rob a homeless man of
Well,
his gold.
you guys all would have seen in like the first couple weeks of being here, someone getting caught for stealing with food and getting their fucking arm chopped off.
their ass kicked, or yeah.
And then
fuck
you
no.
see someone like rape a woman, and they're just like, "You okay? She looks all right," and just walk away.
Yeah.
It's and then murder, like if it's not someone that someone gives a fuck about, they just like clean it up and walk away, see who they can bribe or get money off of, and it's a fucked up place.
Yeah,
love and
rain
hate it
is
all at the same
something
time.
that Strike does not vibe with, and you would probably all know that all too well.
Imagine, well, Strike growing up where he did in like melon country far to the northeast, like where water comes from a river just rolling for free. Like there's so much fucking water. This is just like, I imagine, mind-boggling. like like the melon lands are like the equivalent of like where the Great Lakes are almost in like America, like Michigan area. Like there's so much fucking water there.
All right.
I mean, we come
Well,
from a forest where there's a ton of food all the time for free.
Yeah.
Food and
Well,
water.
well, food still in this city is pretty cheap. Like you can get food, like any food. Like he spent 2 gold on food and then 10 on water. so
Yeah.
That's why Eros just like drinks alcohol in the morning.
Alcohol is probably pure, like better for you anyway to drink here.
I was
'Cause
like,
I know,
oh,
I know Seth. I know Seth has said the water's not very clean here. So
no, like getting clean water, even like this is as clean as you get, but it's in a barrel that's been jostled in and through like the bloodstreams and then picked up
yeah,
and on wagons, and it's still like it's cleaner than anything out on the street, but it's still dirty.
it's like
It's
the
something that you guys know you have to like boil, and then boiling it you evaporate it, you lose some, so it's like
like the
good
base
thing we
of
have
the water.
arrows and don't need to wash our stuff.
Yeah. Uh, like the cleanest water we've had was the one I got from Green Dar.
and the water situation here just is a big part of like the story of the first 2 arcs. So
yeah.
it's a big part of what's going on here. So that's one of the reasons why I want to be kind of heavy-handed with it too. Is it's
Yep.
you're about to go listen to a speech of a lady that's going to talk about
We're at
Nice.
21 gold and 7 silver for everything.
it. Yep.
I'm buying.
Okay. 21 gold, 7 silver. Buying a barrel of water, and then the rest of it you can keep count of. Water, the food and stuff, and like what you have for like how many days of wheat and rice and potatoes. We'll say we got like you got 5 days each of those, so enough to spread out over a couple, a week or so between them, making different meals. Um, as there are 10 days in a week, but more or less. But you guys have enough food to encompass everyone for a week. You guys need to, get another job this week in some way, shape, or form. Birdman, if he was here, maybe 250 gold would be quoted.
Yep. Quoted 250 gold.
for things. But nonetheless, like the kids don't have to worry. You guys might, have to ration yourselves a little bit towards the end of the week, so make sure the kids have food, and enough water for those things.
I'll just
Uh,
eat some reds.
yeah. But nonetheless, you don't have to worry about food today. Like, I'm kind of using this point of the shopping to like really at my point to start to keep track of your food and more diligence and what you guys have and things like that, as well as like tools and things like that. I'm building up there. I'm building up to it.
I
Building up.
mean, worst to worst, we just fuck off and go live in the forest.
You know, you can go do that for a couple weeks, go hunt. Like you guys, in some ways, like it's almost easier, like with the mechanics with how survival works. Like if you're in a lush area, like with how like the mechanics work, you guys can it's like it's if you the DC is based upon where kind of you're at. If we're using DMG, Xanathar's rules, and then you get a D6 plus your wisdom modifier in pounds of food, and a medium creature can have it needs 1 pound of food to survive a day. Like that's like poor quality. Like they 1 pound throughout the entire day is okay amount of food. It's not a lot, but
I
it's
mean,
enough to keep going.
we also have like a legitimate ranger, and Eros lived
Mhm.
in the forest
That's true.
herself as well.
Yeah. I love that the ranger thing is becoming very prevalent this session.
Very, very
It's just been
prevalent.
brought up like 4 times. Like, oh yes, you're just a
Mhm.
ranger.
Hey, you're a ranger.
Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Well,
Fourth time that's been brought up. Like,
when
yeah,
everything
no.
has been purchased, I guess I'm bringing the groceries back home and try to put the woodcutter's tools to some good use. Try to make the Birdman some new coins.
Okay. New coins. Okay. Roll me wood carvers check.
With what?
Are you proficient?
No, I'm training for proficiency.
Okay,
Mr.
so this is if you're making like coins, right? Okay, dexterity.
Straight roll.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Roll me a intelligence. Roll me a d6 plus your intelligence.
D6 plus intelligence. Okay.
Oh
my
yeah,
bad.
sorry.
That's a 1. So 11.
One. You're able to make one really well, and then you have a couple that you fucked up, but you have one really, really good one. So you have one good like coin, and then there's like three other ones that like one's half done, one's like still basic. It's more like a triangular square trapezoidal thing, but it still works. And one is just like it's just a piece of bark. Honestly, that you still have that. You're like, you carved a smiley face on it.
It's a start.
But it's enough where this is also not something you're used to either. But you also we're gonna count these as I need to make I should keep track of this on your sheet. That's what I should do. Okay. So we'll say you're you have gained proficiency towards you're not there yet, but you're getting towards proficiency, I should say.
Yeah, so is that gonna be a once a day thing? Once every couple hours? Once whenever there's a current
Um
limit?
we'll say it's kind of whenever the check makes sense sort of thing, but we're also going to say if it's something that you are investing narrative time in the downtime, you need the it's in the Xanathar's book. Okay. Checks related will help towards proficiency, and we'll say there's you can do say like one check a week or so that makes sense towards those things. And if you get positive results, it will help kind of get it quicker. But Xanathars does talk about how it takes like 10 work weeks to like train towards like tools and more specific than actual skills. But skills I think take a little longer. But that's like if that's it's like kind of downtime stuff. I want to modify so that with some of the things I was doing in my Friday game. So, and my weeks are also longer in my world. So you have like 5 weeks of time that it will take you on average if that's just kind of what you're focusing on. But if you're like getting opportunities like to apply your work and actual do checks, it'll like shorten the time. So like you got a positive check here. So I'm gonna say like, hey, you kind of shortened it down to like 5 weeks. I mean, instead of 5 weeks, it's four. It'll take you for. And if you find another opportunity, kind of where it makes sense to do those things. But this is like what you're working on that week is like making more of these coins and stuff too, in your downtime. So 5 weeks and then positive check lowers. You can have one check a week. And then the DC is going to be determined on what you're kind of creating. I made the DC here of the coins to be like 10 kind of thing. I'm kind of the belief you can learn different schools and trades in different ways. It does not always have to be, making crazy boats and ships to be a good wood carver.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Went shopping, spending time making coins at home, and then you guys go into the speech. Okay. Sorry. I needed to find a picture for what I had in my mind of loosely what I wanted this woman to look like. You guys, eventually, this woman comes and walks on the bridge and has people that are dressed with the kind of tabards of the marrow minders, which is like this broken thigh bone, and there's like gold spilling out of it. And there's kind of behind one on each side behind her. And Lady Altapar kind of murmurs and to some of the other people that are on the bridge here. You have wizards from the Sages Row. You have commoners that filter the water that trails off from the Tarask, the blood to get kind of the runoff blood and boil it down for various purposes, and kind of like that excess sewage. You have the kind of street cleaners, dancers and brothel people, people from all different houses. So Lupin and from the first house or on the outskirts, you have 10th House Putori, you have Mustelli, weasel people from the ninth house. You got dogs and from the 8th house, and then the rats from the 4th house as well. And then humans and dwarves and halflings, drow with hoods on most of them by this point, as it's still kind of early in the morning. Even though there's usually some smog and fog up above that blocks out most of the sun, they're still, covered up pretty well. Most of their ears poking out from their hoods from little slits and things like that that have been cut themselves or fashioned that way. And goblins, bugbears, here and there a hobgoblin, and badger folk, everything kind of thing. And it's a good number. It's like 500 plus, maybe upwards to 1,000, as best as Eros and Birdman can see by the time it's getting to like 10 a.m. Like a lot of people all of a sudden just show up, and that's a lot.
Would we have split up? Like, do you think it would be a good idea for us to like split up in the crowd, or are we standing next to each other?
I think we split up because
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self
yourself
again. And again, be the Poonthera, because I need to get within 30 feet to use Detect Thoughts.
Yeah, and I think Birdman is just one of those people that kind of just melds into a crowd.
I would like a stealth or performance check to kind of blend into the crowd
Sure.
from both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, both hit the DC.
Oh, when I get advantage, actually, I hate to ask this like after I rolled, but do I get advantage? Because this is related to stealthing in a natural environment for natural explorer.
Isn't that just
or is that
wisdom?
Is it just with wisdom and intelligence checks? Okay, I lied.
I thought that was just wisdom and intelligence checks.
Hey, it never hurts to ask, dude.
It never does.
You sound like an idiot.
No, if you got advantage for another reason, that would make sense.
Right. Okay. No, we're cool.
If you want to, but no, you got. I was looking for a 15. Anyways, so you guys are cool. Just look like you're part of the crowd as best as you want to be. On the outskirts as Birdman probably is, because he's got a longbow or whatnot if he needs. Good distance. Anything you would shoot at, though, if it ever gets to that point, just FYI in the scene, like half cover is like 3/4 cover, like to not hit people, other people,
right.
kind of thing. But nonetheless, difficult. And arrows, it's hard to perform the quadrupedal nature of Animaesus. So you kind of like do the bipedal thing, and there's a couple people that look off and see that you're kind of like pretending to like lose your balance a little bit here and kind of play with that a little bit more in your favor, and that kind of draws too much attention at points here and there, because it's a little weird for a poop player to kind of walk that way. But nonetheless, eventually people just get more concerned with the human lady that's getting to the bridge, Lady Altapar, and you're able to get within, you're like 20 feet away from her, on the northwest side. I'm gonna kind of say like over here on this part of the bridge. She's on the bridge. I'm going to basically just zoom in super far and kind of make you guys a little smaller and stuff. Oh no,
God.
stupid mouse. There you go.
I would go so far as to say, like, since there's like so many people, like it kind of makes a little more sense that I'm bipedaling it instead of like trying to stay on the ground.
Yeah, it does. So using that performance in your favor, that makes sense. Okay. And people murmuring, and eventually one of the host from the seconds and bits here, which is like one of the lower end food joints, kind of comes up. Yes, I know most of you here for the free lunch. And it's a small little weaselkin.
Birdman's like, the fuck I paid for stir fry? I got free lunch? Fuck. It's like
But nonetheless, we're here mostly concerned for what should be free, right? Free water. And Lady Altapar is here to talk about these things. And, blonde-haired woman kind of walks forward and kind of grabs the back of her ponytail and kind of tightens it back a little bit.
Can I kind of just go, free water? Like, scream, free
And
water.
a couple other people echo that, and it's kind of an angry roar in some of those things. And, the woman gets a little nervous and then looks down below. Eris can see and hear in the detect thoughts this. I assume you're casting it.
Yeah, I have 3 slots to cast, so about 3
Okay.
minutes.
Here in the initial thing as she's getting ready to speak about, in the thoughts, something about, you get a memory of her childhood, like how, she had this idea of hope of like that the black ichor below would actually be water one day, and then it's not, like kind of that feeling of nostalgia that she used to believe so strongly in those things. And then there's that, like, she gets angry at herself, and then there's just she kind of shakes away that and kind of locks things behind to like focus herself, right? And you kind of get the impression she's going against what she's supposed to be doing right now. You immediately get that. Like, she had this like rehearsed speech in her head, and now she's like not going to use that speech. So like the words are kind of coming more off the cuff as she's speaking. I guess. And she finally raises her hand to get people to kind of quiet down and as best she can. And then she has this like little gadget thing that like is this magic stone thing that basically casts thaumaturgy and allows her to speak into it to like echo louder. And she kind of like presses that, holds the stone in front of her, and like obviously whispers the words to activate the incantation. And my people, I am one of you. Grew up here in the Tailstones, eating from seconds and bits and Gothmot's grub, and the stir-fry from Ragas. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheer for Ragas. Ah!
We get what's left. We know this. And Sage's Row uses what's left even after that. And some of the wizards nearby get a little uncomfortable that are here. And some of the alchemists and other people that experiment and do those things, I guess. I was told to come here and tell you the free water, like I've always said, is coming, and it will flow down these rivers and wash them clean, and we can have both. Food, water, shelter, all we need, everything, I guess I should say, yes? And people are murmuring and a little uncomfortable. But that's not true. Not unless we do something about it. Not unless we stop believing. And she looks behind her, and you can see, like, the guards that are, like, with the Marrow tabards are, like, moving a little uncomfortable. Like, one of them kind of puts his hand on, like a mace or something on his hip and is just, like, isn't sure what she's doing here. Like, this isn't what was rehearsed. It's very obvious by the people near her that they're like, oh my god, we're in front of everyone. She's not following through with the plan.
Can I shift my attention to one of them to hear their thoughts?
Okay. Surface thoughts, basic thing, I guess, is should we stop her from speaking? They're unsure from this one. She hasn't gone too far just yet, I guess. And Lady Altapar kind of continues. We hear so many things from the houses. These 13 lords, they call themselves, ladies too, yes? We hear so many promises over the years. We near 280 come year after next. Beautiful to behold that we've stayed this long. But We all feel the darkness here. Marrow Miner is one of them. Like, okay, what is she, about to talk about here? He kind of like obviously shifts. His hand goes more sternly to his thing, walks a couple steps forward. She sees it and kind of just turns to him and like defiantly, like her face is a little sweaty, and points back. These Marrow Miners promise. They promise the water, but where is it? We just get trickling from the 13th house as they squeeze away our souls. And like by that point, like a guy's like almost grabbing her, and she's just like pushes him away and steps away a little bit. I am not done speaking, and the people like, let her speak, let her speak. What do you guys do?
Free water, free water, free water, free water.
There's like,
Start
free
up.
water, free water, free water. It starts to echo around you.
And then as soon as I'm like, okay, I'm starting a riot. Like it's cool. Like I'm
Eros,
starting a
what do you do?
riot.
Eros is I'm gonna have to cast it again. I will cast Detect Thoughts again, and this time I will dig into her mind. So she has to beat a 14 Wisdom save.
Only the surface that you get her is the only thing you get is if I don't say it now, I never will get a chance. I would like you both all to roll a perception check as people are moving and stuff at this point. Your eyes are being drawn in different directions. Eros's attention is both of your attention is just focused on, just a lot of movement going on. It's hard to really pinpoint anything by that. And one of the guys goes to kind of grapple her, and she she gets grabbed, and they kind of tackle her, and they knock the stone out, and you kind of
that's
get to
actually
hear
a
what the rest of
12 for me, I
it's
think.
actually a 12.
Yeah.
Okay. With a 12. Oh wait, what was? I gotta look up that person's passive.
Oh, and just she would know that I tried to read her mind as well. Fail or succeed, they know.
No, you don't. Nothing other than what I've already described. Yeah, you didn't get the passive stealth of the thing I wanted you to see, so they're too stealthy for you. And she gets kind of tackled by the two guys. They take the thing. People are like, more water, what's going on? And they confused all of this stuff at the same time. And she is basically in the process of getting arrested. And um, there's some commotion and movement on the other end of, they're like moving on the other end. No, they're going this way actually. Yeah, they're going this way and like moving through this direction with her, and like when they get to that point, there's like some commotion behind the building there, and by the time people get there and you guys follow and kind of see around the corner, she isn't there, and the two guards that were taking her and went through this alley are dead.
Oh,
And everyone's just like, what the fuck, what the fuck? Like the
Whoa.
and like you guys roll a perception check at disadvantage because there's a lot going on by this point to see if you pick up on anything out in the distance. You guys look around.
come on, passive perception. Just let me see
Damn.
it.
Yeah, it's another 12 again too.
Another
Look, that's
12.
crazy.
Okay. Well, I forgot about your crazy press perception, so thank you for the reminder. You do, Eros. You kind of go like, I picture Eros that she like
Mine isn't bad either.
goes around this way and goes to this bridge and like goes down here to the end of that landmass there, and is just like looking to the south and just confused. And Birdman is like over here and just got absorbed by a crowd of people that are just like looking at the dead marrow miners, and the whatnot, and just all that stuff. And the arrows on climbing up the wall, you see two kind of cloaked figures, and you're pretty sure you see her putting on a cloak, being forced to follow them.
Okay, now I know they're a distance away. but can I want to do a perception advantage, disadvantage, whatever, to look at the other cloak figures. I probably will fail, but
See if you can recognize them.
yeah,
Disadvantage.
just a 12.
All you know is based upon the silhouette of their cloak that they have elven ears. You're not sure if they're pale skin or dark skin,
Whoa.
Okay,
but you know they have elf ears.
I have this thought to myself, and this seems like a good time to do it. This is a very, very big stretch in the dark, but I'm going to cast Sending on Talaria and just say, hey, so I know it's been a few days. Just checking up on you. Just, what you up to right now?
I had to return to the city to help a friend who was being brazen.
And Eris is going to send another message to Birdman saying, okay, our target just got taken by Talaria and her friend. They're back in the city.
They had to come back eventually.
Bloody elf.
Okay. Then
Follow them.
yeah. So I imagine Eros and Birdman would eventually meet up, and I can only cast those. I'll cast Sending one last time. It's my last slot. Back to Talaria, saying, "Oh, I thought it was you. I saw when it went down. We can meet up if you'd like."
You have the eyes of a hawk, the senses beyond nature. Meet us a league south of the river beyond the wall. We will be near the pear trees.
Okay. So,
Oh man, it's a good thing you have a ranger with you. That's crazy.
and we know a guy who makes a lot of tunnels all the time, so.
Yeah.
I imagine
Okay, let's do it.
Strike would be showing up in the chaos. I think it would make sense by this point. Like leaving the kids with Cotton. Cotton takes the kids back home. Use her absence to our benefit.
Did
Yeah, I
did
didn't
we
want to
start like an
interrupt, so I just
actual like
typed out
riot in the Tailstones? Like there's like fucking
There's probably not all of the near 1,000 people, but probably like 100 of the 1,000, like 10% have gathered up and have like started to like chant down the streets in the main streetway here. But it doesn't. You don't get the impression it's going to last beyond a couple hours. Like people are going to
Okay.
eventually get like, and eventually the 12th house is going to send a shit ton of drow. You know that they're going to come investigate. Their two marrow miners that got killed, who aren't drow. They're probably these two. I just pictured like one. They're probably these two burly human dudes that were like
Shit.
just sent here to like liaison for something that was supposed to be simple.
Shit.
So
you're probably, because you were here, if they find out you're here, they're probably gonna want you to be the like defense or whatever, prosecution or whatever.
I was gonna say
situation.
fuck. Yeah, I don't have to like
If
figure that out
if they catch this woman, yeah,
if
they're
they
gonna want
catch
you.
glimpse of who I am and
And
if I was here.
it's a good thing like lawyers aren't really like modern lawyers in this city, because if it's a modern lawyer, you would be required to report what is going on. Like otherwise you
yeah.
lose your license. In this
I
city,
would
it's like,
have
well,
to.
if someone saw you do this, then yeah, someone might,
If
send
if
you to
somebody
court.
saw me, then they're like, "Oh, you have to do it because you were there."
Oh, and it might, and the punishment here might actually be like they like remove your tongue or something like that.
Oh my god, yeah.
So where it's like, well, now
Well,
the Kenku can't speak at all.
yeah.
Okay.
Kangaroo can't speak at all. Yeah.
Like that's more likely the punishment in this city. If it gets to courts, it's going to be a ruining of your reputation, and then you're thrown in jail, and it's humiliation, and
If
It's
it gets to court,
ridiculous.
if it gets to court and I'm not involved with it, yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be bad. But like, if it gets to court, they have to summon me. Like, hey, dude, we have
Yeah.
reason to believe that you were at this thing, so you have to take care of this. Ah, Birdman is aware that his job sucks. It's fine. It's like my job sucks. If I get caught in like any situation, I'm just like liable to show up the next day. Like, I have to fix this. Great.
You know, this is why I think
Fuck.
the English called lawyers solicitors. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
solicitors.
It's
yeah.
a good thing you have that passive 21 stealth.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I wasn't here.
Like,
the
there's
whole
very few
time.
people in this city that are going to be able to keep up with you by line of sight.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the walls might be able to keep up a scent on you, but this city also stinks to high heaven too.
It's more like,
so-
yeah. I feel like I know that.
I have
I'll
to
just run- I'll
try
just run
really
through-
hard.
I'll just run through the blood, and they'll be like, "God damn it!"
Okay, I need a. We'll just make it a group check. I need a group survival check. Strike's now with you. We'll say.
Okay.
To head south and find this descriptive place. Like, Strike has a little more experience south of the city, I imagine, just by his tunnel exploration than you guys do.
What is south of the city? Like, what is the terrain? Is it forest? Is
This
it
is
grasslands or
this is swampy grasslands.
swampy grasslands? Okay.
Or shall we
So
found it?
Damn.
my
Okay,
proficiency
well-
my proficiency does not double, but it helps.
That's still a fucking good check. So I was
Yup.
looking for a 15 and you all got it. So this is something that like you all kind of piece together very easily. This will also take you a couple hours, so each of you roll me a d6 plus your wisdom.
Oh, D6 plus wisdom. Wisdom 2. So
Wisdom score or
that's a
modifier?
6.
Just your modifier.
I got a 5.
That is a 6 for me.
Damn.
My God.
Plus another 10. All right.
It's crazy. Fucking cracked.
Thank you, Ancient
A
Spirit.
mixture of like berries and fungus and probably some small like lizards and little like weasels and things. You guys in this time taking advantage of the situation you're in, going outside the city, forage and hunt a little bit and get some food to bring back home so you guys have a little bit more.
Oh, we get a shitload of food then.
You get a shit. That's
Oh.
21 pounds of food
So
of
much
various things. So that's enough for a couple. You just gave you guys a couple extra days of food.
food. Yo.
Yay.
For those things to get through and save you money along the way. You guys, the swampy kind of grasslands out here are abnormal. The survival check was also for like avoiding like quicksand and like traps and sinkholes and like just nastiness of nature. Like it's abnormal kind of where these things spring up too. It's almost like the blood of the trash that seeps around here is like acidic in a way and like creates pockets on the earth here and there. And then like the foliage eventually grows in and kind of fills it up, and then it kind of gets destroyed and melted and kind of goes back and forth and kind of creates this weird environment that it is over the last kind of 100 years or so is like when this started to really happen out in nature. It's something definitely your Vulpin friend is very concerned about. The nature is completely imbalanced here with how it switches, and like there's not a seasons within like 50 miles around the city. There's just so much heat here that it just creates this humid pocket from the decay that you don't get snow this close to the city, and it doesn't get cold. It doesn't really get too hot either. It just gets really extra humid. But it creates lots of life in the process. It's like that weird pocket that it does. And
Hmm.
creatures I'm not gonna. I would, if you were lower level, kind of do random encounters here where you guys would run into like giant rats and giant spiders and things. I'll just say you guys kind of clear that stuff easy enough away without any worry. Like little pockets of them here and there as part of the things you maybe harvest and eat. Is this just there's mutated giant things that make no sense, and weird like snake leopards and things, and I don't know. They're mute. It's odd. Um, but you eventually, after a couple hours, get to this kind of place south of the city, and Talaria is there. Talaria is there with Lady Altapar. Quote unquote Avalon is not there, but it's those two. And Talaria comes up and almost kind of comes up and does this kind of weird elven circular handshake thing to like say hello to
Oh
you
my
all, and
god.
like, and then
Can I
uh
roll to know if I recognize it? Like, can I
Roll?
do it? Like, bro.
roll well for your roll a history check.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You will say you have a little like flashback that you don't get very often to like being like a 10-year-old elf, like learning this from your grandpa
I
or
go to
whatever.
I go to do it. I do it with her. Like she like
And
initiates it. I do it with her. I'm like, hey, what's up?
uh she is surprised that you know it, like kind
Yeah.
of thing, that you kind of respond. You probably mess it up a little bit, but it's
Yep.
like
It's been a
it's
while.
definitely that you return the favor kind of thing.
Oh
And
shit.
this
Arrows pulls her into a hug instead.
that's what that handshake kind of means. Birdman knows. It's like a hug. I just don't, but Talaria get a little off put by the hug eventually, just kind of sinks into it and smiles. And Lady Altapar is standing behind her, looking at you three, and mostly intimidated by the Strike just walks up, and he's just a big, burly, spiked tailed, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck
Strike,
thing.
who looks at them all a little bit confused, which others might confuse with him being pissed off. He just kind of looks like that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, you're not pissed, you're just confused.
It's just my face.
You just look like my dad. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, huh?
So I think Eros would
My
start off
faces.
by saying,
Well, I'm glad you originally made it out of the city just fine. Sorry I didn't message you yesterday. Just kind of got lost in other things. Wasn't expecting this though.
as she points to Lady Altapar.
Neither was I. She sent me a letter of her intentions. She kind of stares at Lady Altapar, who kind of like looks away, kind of embarrassed. And I got it upon my return and had to rush back by aid of one of our mages to get to her before she did something stupid, and she almost did something stupid. But, lady, someone was there to watch over you, I guess. Fate playing into the balance. Sure. And Lady Altbar speaks. I'm more than capable of taking care of myself. I
Those guys were gonna
I
kill you or something, at the very least. Maybe cut your tongue
killing
out.
this city. They're killing people anyways. I'm one more people on.
Well, I mean, yeah,
We
you're.
travel 50 miles anywhere outside the city, and we can get water for free. And these people hold it over people's head like it's gold, and it's ridiculous. I finally am in a place in the city where I can do something about it, and then people want to tie my hands behind my back, and that's what I thought you wanted. And she points to Talaria. That's why you wanted me to be here in this position, right? So I could do something. And Talaria's like, not yet.
You see,
10
she
years,
says
5
people
years
wanna-
from now,
she
3
says-
months from now, not now, Talaria yells back at her. Not now. Time. We needed time to develop it. We barely even understand what their plan is. And I only understand by accidentally running into these three. What's going on? And Lady Aldepar, what is going on? Exactly my point, Talaria says. You don't know anything and are moving without communicating with anyone other than saying, I'm going to do this because I have power now. Power is
250
nothing.
ahead.
Time matters, and I've been here 200 fucking years and you're wasting my time.
250 a person.
Birdman, just
Well,
He just looks at Eros like 250 a person. Like she says like my hands are tied behind my back. Like she's like I'm like he insinuates like bro, it is much worse than you think it is. Like he just looked at him at Eros like 250 a person.
you want me to tell her? Because if I do, you can't go through with it.
She's like 100 person is the normal rate in the city. 250 a person.
Why? And Lady Altapar is like, why does that bird sound like my husband?
It's because he can't speak for himself, so he uses what other people say instead.
Uses what
doesn't
other people
that
say
doesn't
instead.
okay, that doesn't answer my question. It only half answers my question. Why does he sound like my husband?
Birdman,
250 a person. I need you to kill my wife and her.
And in his voice, and her eyes go wide, her jaw drops, and he did what? And Talaria just goes to grab her hand, and she doesn't remove her hand when Talaria grabs her hand. She just kind of looks at Talaria and looks at you three like, how the fuck do you? What the fuck? Like what? Like like. How is this happening right now?
And then he looks at Eros like, there, I did the right thing. What do you want me to do? It's like, looks at him like, I did the right thing.
like if I could put I could put a sanity stat on NPCs, which I can, I would give her a sanity stat. She just
can I gain sanity for this? I'm like, I did the right thing. He's looking at her.
Yes. Roll a sanity check versus your current sanity to see if you increase.
Meanwhile, Strike in the background shaking his head.
No. I'm fucking.
You don't lose any, but you don't increase.
Like I fucking did what you want me to do. We talked about this last night. Like he's like looking at her like he's like going off.
I told you that I wouldn't help you if you decide, but I am glad.
No more bodies. No more bodies. No more bodies. Just say it like louder.
Eros would kind of like,
I'm done with bodies. I'm done with bodies.
Eros would put her like 2 fingers on top of his beak and like to kind of stop him.
Like, thank you. But I get it. Okay?
And then she would look back at the 2 ladies and say,
we tend to get ourselves in situations. Look, I know you know me, or at least you know me, right? Right? I'm sure I've talked to you before. Maybe I forget.
Who are you asking this?
Altapar's wife. Altapar's wife.
She blinks a couple times. The shock kind of washes away a little bit and then replaces itself as like, you're her.
You ruined my sex life.
In her husband's voice.
Yeah.
Her eyes go wide again and she stares at him just like yet wanting to ask how the fuck do you do that, and it's just like waves it off like I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then it's just like, okay, maybe there's a question that someone can answer me. What the hell is that? And she points at Strike.
Can answer me.
That's
points at Strike.
very rude.
Steven.
Strike.
It talks.
Strike.
It? Oh. Excuse me?
Oh, you're a melon. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I what happened to you?
Long story. Very long story.
Steven.
I'd appreciate Strike.
Steven.
Is it
I'd
Steven Strike?
appreciate-
Nice to meet you, Steven Strike. And she holds
I'd
out her hand.
really appreciate if you would think before you speak. If I were anyone else in this accursed city, your head might be on the floor right now.
Brian. Just pointed himself.
This is Strike, and that's Birdman, attorney at crime, and I am
I'm the
Arrow.
Birdman.
We are missing one of our compatriots. Khan's at home, I guess. But we're also quite resourceful.
He looks at Strike. Kids. Cotton? Is at home, I guess. Kids?
Yes, Brian Derrito.
Well,
Brian.
that's at least good. So,
Can we start making sense here?
let's start with our half of the story. I go to Altapar for jobs. Well, we do. And today,
Penthouse.
I had to. I bought something from Macello's that I just wanted to put on, but we were running a little bit late. So, while he was gathering documents, I got naked in his office and he mistook the situation.
You ruined my sex life.
I tried to convince you of that, but you never gave me the time of day about it. We never managed to, no matter how many sending spells I sent. And he told us about your divorce.
Divorce.
I wanted to help, but he decided there were better things to be done.
100 gold per person. That's the normal rate. 250 per person. Yes. I want you to kill my wife and her new lover.
I tried to convince him otherwise. He only upped the price and said, even if there
250 per person.
are other avenues that he's thought of, this would be the easiest.
Birdman looks
She
at her
has
very
tears.
suspiciously.
She has tears that she wipes out of her eyes. He's that selfish.
Oh yeah. Very.
He's not my lover. Not anymore, I guess. The dogs of the first house used him as to train their young ones. He didn't survive long after that. I did my best. Roll me an insight check. You three.
Ba-da-da.
Holy shit.
We're on another one right now.
We fucking know. We're like, oh.
No, it really doesn't matter what Strike rolls because they both rolled like above. They rolled what I want. This was a 25. Easy. With what just this is. He may have loved the dwarf, but the dwarf was really someone she was working with. The dwarf was a god butcher. There was not really romantic thing. It was more like brother sister love. Like this is a guy that she would die for, hands down, but she didn't love him in that romantic way in any way, shape, or form.
Birdman,
This guy had done so much with her for her to get her kind of to where she's at. And
Birdman
then like
looks at Arrows and he says, self-defense.
like she's not aware that he got arrested because of you all.
Yeah, he does. He looks at Arrows and just says self-defense.
Well, I can't really be sorry about that.
And then he like makes a stabbing motion, like.
The other night, he had decided to take a man who barks louder than he could ever bite, take his coin, that he didn't have and helped attack us. And he got arrested for it. I would say I'm sorry for it, but
He's an idiot. I always knew he was. He said he was going to make some more money. I didn't think he would be stupid enough to just go on the street and be a mercenary like he was 10 years ago. Idiot.
With the bird.
yeah, so I can't really be
I
sorry about that.
No, he put himself in a situation that he knew would be taken in the wrong way, even if he wanted to ignore the fact for whatever gold the guy promised. Well,
And
say
then
goodbye to you, Hardy. May the gods, or whatever the fuck they are, watch over you. And she just kind of like almost flips off this guy in a way. It's just like fuck you, like
Whatever I
you can
do
tell
whenever I
she
shoot a
can tell you can tell she's an atheist. She doesn't believe in the gods. So
Good thing none of us are paladins or clerics.
yeah,
250 per person.
well, then we were at your speech to I wanted to make sure that if I was going to kill someone, that they deserved it at the very least. So you got this sense that someone tried digging in your mind. That was me. And from the company that you keep, I'd say you're definitely not someone who should be killed.
well,
Fuck.
at least not yet. I hope.
Well, people are after you anyway, so even Altapar
Um,
knows this.
250 per person.
I can hold my own if I need, but
No, you fucking can't.
Talaria, I need to get back in the city. This isn't over yet. And Talaria just shakes her head no. And if I don't try to fix some of what I've done in the next couple days, then what have I done with my last 5 years of my life? I need to do something about it. And maybe get an opportunity to actually speak to the people. The people were there. They want what we can give Talaria, and if we can find a way to get clean water, then we'll have the people. Like, you have your druids. There are many. Something can be done, right? And Talaria just kind of shrugs, like she has no fucking clue. Like they've tried this for over 10 years. Like Talaria's been doing this. So you guys know from past conversations that Talaria's been fighting with the 12th house for 10 years, out dealing with their farms, the baby Tarasques, and whatever other bullshit she's had to deal with. So, you know, the rest of them.
You said
Well,
in your speech that you grew up in the city. So you should know better than any of us that the houses are the most powerful things there. That the only thing that would cause them to fall apart is if the Tarrasque wasn't there. So
yes.
you don't have a lot of options on your own. You rile up the people, and the ones in control will just stop the supply. They'll be fine themselves. They're tougher as well. I could take probably 5 commoners on my own. Strike here easily could take 30 without breaking a sweat. Those houses, they won't be any different. You'll get a lot of people killed before you make any progress. Without any end goal in sight.
We speak from experience. Piss off one person, And you've got an entire house after you.
4,000.
So my husband's 10th house. If you don't kill me, he will send someone else, is what you're saying.
He literally
And
told us.
the Birdman. Yeah, and then the Birdman says that in his voice. If you can't kill her, I will send someone who can. For
Nobody's getting killed
250 a
if we
person.
have anything to say about it.
So you won't be safe inside the city. At all. Not with what just happened.
But Birdman holds his knife out like towards her and says 250 apiece.
Brian, stop.
I think he's onto something. You leave the
What?
city, you're as good as dead, as far as the city's concerned. You're pulling a Hardy right now if you go back into that city. You're trying to get something done, and you're not thinking it through. So you're just going to get yourself killed. I would say, go with Talaria, and we can go back to your husband and say that you died.
We would need proof. He wouldn't
We
just
will need
believe
proof.
Hmm.
And he holds his knife out at her again, like,
it.
give us proof.
No.
Like, give us proof. Like,
I don't. I've heard in the city that mercenaries bring back various things as proof, usually from the head. I don't know, an ear? She.
yeah, I was gonna say Birdman points like he like points at all the things like ear, nose, it's like eye.
Before she grabs the knife, you can see her flip back her cloak on her left arm, and on her arm is this like bracer mechanic thing that has like multiple like syringes near the forearm, and she grabs one of the syringes and like very gingerly and dexterously kind of pulls it out of the little slot that's in, and then once it's out, holds it in her right hand, and then with the left hand like near the needle of the syringe, like twists it kind of counterclockwise, and there's a little aerosol bubble that inside of it. Well, would one of you do the honors? She pulls back her hair and shows her left ear, and then puts the syringe near her right hip, getting ready to shove it into her thigh.
Birdman looks at both of them like, I feel like I should do it if I walk in covered in blood with an ear. Like,
I'm not doing it. No, you do it.
And you're sure about this?
If she's resolute in it,
Just get it
And
over
I-
with.
and I fucking take her ear off, like I don't try to like measure it. I kind of just like slice it, and if a piece of it comes off, a piece of it comes off. Like, it's like, yeah.
As this is happening, telepathically, you all hear Talaria's voice in your head say, "And so ends the last day of Angeli's Altapar." As you cut off her ear. And I think that's where we'll end it.
ah,